Again, this is an advanced reading for the second quarter GDP. Again, 2.5 expected comes out. There it is. 2.8%. Durable goods for the month of June as well, month over month, down 6.6% versus an increase of 0.3% expected. GDP price index quarter over quarter advance for Q2, 2.3% versus 2.6% expected there. 235,000, meanwhile, on the initial jobless claims on a week-over-week basis. That's downside, 247,000 was expected. 1.85 million on continuing claims, also downside versus 1.87 expected there. Core PCE, that's another advance reading, a quarterly advance reading, 2.9% versus 3.1. That's a good look ahead of what's to come tomorrow. Keep in mind the actual month-over-month number coming up tomorrow at this time. So a lot to digest there. It looks like durable goods and GDP heading back upside ever so slightly here, coming off what was worst day for the overall market since 2022. We are higher on these data points, it looks like, for the most part. NASDAQ and S&P both trying to get back to positive territory. Still downside ever so slightly here for both. But what a day it was yesterday for tech specifically. Just absolutely crushed right out of the gate across the board wherever you look. So we'll see if we can't get a bounce here today. Pretty good start again. We're still red to the tune of about 0.25%, but that's data helping.
Yeah, that bleeding didn't stop yesterday, Brendo. 3% at the lows there for the NASDAQ. The ES wasn't much better. High 1%. The Dow, the Russell, they were all in negative territory, but the Russell faring much better chart-wise. Lots to report on today. Ford reporting. American Airlines, Southwest, a bit of a tougher look for the airlines there. Amazon and the NBA coming to a deal there for streaming, and China looking more stimulus. They're looking to pump more money into the economy.
Yeah, downside for Ford, meanwhile, pretty ugly on the EV side of things for Ford. We'll touch on that coming up. This is just visually, we'll give you an idea of that GDP report. A little bit of an uptick there for Q2. Again, this is an advance reading so far, so not the final one for the quarter, but we've been chopping around ever since the end of 2022 around this area anyways. For real GDP, good morning, guys.
Good morning. What did you do to the markets, everybody? And what the heck happened to this bear?
Obi was having some fun there yesterday with that bear, I think. I don't know.
Like, the bear has he's got no legs, man.
It's a half. It's a half.
I'm pretty sure the bears had legs yesterday. Let's be real. They were like running wild.
Taking advantage because you weren't there buying the dips. That was the problem. And nobody was. I tried to buy them.
Oh, my goodness.
I tried to buy them at 2 o'clock and then finally flipped our brain around and went short into the end of the day. But yeah, it just kept on going and going. It's worst day since, I think it was
somewhere in 2022,
December 2022 or something like that.
Was it December?
We talked about it the other day. The NASDAQ, the S&P also finally drops 2%. First time in 357 trading days. 357
wild.
Trading days.
Almost,
absolutely
it's insane.
Wild. And unfortunately, we me and Adara, we talked about this on the recap show. I said, we think it's going to be up or down tomorrow. She said down. It looks like we're going to start in and around there with the NASDAQ trying to get this figured out. We just had a better than expected GDP number, I guess, 2.8 versus 2. That seemed to be pretty good. It just flashed through the Benzinga Pro platform there. Definitely check that out. They give it to you. They don't get it to you as fast as we get it to you, but, it's there.
It's pretty quick.
Yesterday, the SOX L, wow, this name just kept on falling down here as we watch out for some of these ETFs that are especially triple levered. I mean, we traded the TQQs yesterday, and that was a heck of a lot of fun. And put some money in the bank on that one, too. But $50 there yesterday, closes 43. I mean, 7, down 14%, $7, and almost in a straight line, you had one little bounce there, and then that's where we thought we were going to go long, and then just right into the close keeps on going. And oh man, I said this yesterday, and it's a good thing we didn't buy too much more of any of these names yesterday. But I thought the dip buy yesterday was a great opportunity, and then Nvidia today says no, we're still down 1.5 and going lower. I don't know. I mean, saved a little bit by that GDP number, but you're about to get to 112. And it's not going to look good on our charts because, again, we still haven't been able to figure out the reverse split thing or the split thing, any kind of splitting. But there it is right here. I don't know, if we lose that 110, so I think that's something that we're going to have to look at today, because then you have that gap down into 107, and then you have Oh man, the
98 's a
mother
big
of
price.
all gaps coming in for NVIDIA. That's not going to be very pretty because again, people were pushing buy buttons up here. It was just 7 days ago the Nasdaq was at all-time highs. Not NVIDIA, but 7 days ago we were at all-time highs with the Nasdaq right here. I mean, that's boom, and we only had 2 reports. I mean, sure, GM wasn't a great report, obviously.
Yeah, but Google was, I mean...
XPI. No, Google was fine. But it's just like...
Yeah, it wasn't like the end of the world. It's just, I think everything has to be so good this earnings season. Before we came on, I'm like,
right.
I don't know, I don't think this is going to be that great of an earnings season because it seems to me like the expectations are completely unrealistic. Like right now, I think for those names that are at these highs to go up, it's basically like my expectation on the Bills every single year. It's like I'm a homer. My expectations aren't realistic. Chipotle had a good quarter. Now, like the only problem was their guidance. I'm gonna get to Ethereum in a second, but the only problem was the guide on the margins, and all of a sudden you give up fantastic gains overnight. So I think we're in that kind of a realm, and I do worry about some of the big tech. And the good news is, at least for next week, a bunch of these stocks have already dropped in earnings, so maybe their prices are a little bit better. But even, I don't think it's too much of a surprise to see Ethereum pull back and crypto pull back. We saw this, the ETFs come on board, there's a rally into it, it doesn't push through, and then you get a little bit of a sell the news. So from a technical standpoint, I'm not going to throw anything out here that is that's not obvious. 32, I guess we're going to gap back down with 32 resistance on ETH, and 3,000 would be the area of support. So I don't know if I haven't seen a ton of volume on the ones I've been pulling up here, but it'll be on watch. We have them, and clearly they're all moving to the downside. We're mentioning Coinbase before we came on air, that's under a tremendous amount of pressure after just looking like it was going to break out above. And this is sort of the thing about a breakout. When you get a level like this, well, what everybody would love to see, Coinbase had a triple top at like 264. Everyone would love to see it break. But there's no close above that price. It got there, traded there for a hot minute, and then there's your pullback. So in this market, you almost have to be patient, let it bounce, find a really good level if you're going to take some kind of a bounce play. There's going to be lots of SSR plays this earnings season. I feel like every single day there is going to be some kind of a 10% down stock for a bounce play in this earnings season. Today you've got Ford, you've got continuation on Tesla, which was a wild ride. I was just sort of following it on my phone while laying on my back, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Buy the dips in the long term if you have a long enough time horizon, but this is going to be a rough earnings season, I think.
Maybe we should. Bitcoin downside this morning as well. It's been, what is this, daily chart, 4 days in a row here, straight back to 64,000 trying to hold here after we touched 68,000 going back to the beginning of the week. So you saw some of the equities getting hit a little bit once again here pre-market. This overall market move, though, trying to help. Lululemon just popped up in front of me, also making a gap to the downside here, a decent size one as well, 263 this morning on a couple of negative notes from analysts, Citigroup and JP Morgan actually removing their stock from their analyst focus list. So this daily chart not looking too healthy here for Lulu.
It's not, and I actually put it on the upgrades and downgrades list. You'll see that in a second with the DARE. So just to start off with crypto, Brendo, huge net outflows yesterday for Ethereum. So big move down. We already see it's down about 6-7% in the pre-market, but there was about $133 million that flowed out of the spot ETFs yesterday for Ethereum. Binance, also the largest crypto exchange, saw about $118 million in long positions liquidated. Bitcoin, though, the spot ETFs saw a bit of the opposite. They saw net inflows about $44.5 million. So interesting look there.
Yeah, a bit of a lackluster debut, I would say, for those Ethereum ETFs, as we were talking about this time yesterday morning. This is a weekly chart. If you zoom out a little bit on Lulu, you got to go all the way back to June of 2022, guys, to find some support here, possibly.
Oh, man.
Oh, I mean, you want to go back? Like, the names, like the number of stocks where I think your only valid way to pull up and find support and resistance, or, well, in this case, it'd be support, is to pull out a weekly chart. Like, throw your daily chart out the month with, like, Lululemon, with Nike, Like you just, for these, you got to pull out the weekly. I mean, pull a monthly, that'll do you just as well. But yeah, you're right on the nose, I think. This one I would call almost like the Alamo. Like I hate throwing that term around because one of our traders actually said this, like, oh, where's the dip buy on whatever stock? And we're like, oh, this would be the bottom on that stock today. The only place I'd take it long. If it's underneath there, I think you got to give up. And then someone coined it like the Alamo. And I really like that term, but I feel like Lululemon at $255 in here, maybe $54. This is the 2022 bottom. It's literally the high in 2020. Like it's the pandemic top into the post-pandemic breakout, into the 2022 low. Like if Lululemon doesn't hold on to this, like forget about it. Like I don't think it hits the pandemic bottoms. Like it would have to get cut in half from there. But that's a pretty significant level. And for any, there's always going to be those out there that say, it doesn't matter, those prices, they're so far. But the way I see it, traders and people that make decisions act on things like this. So as long as that's going to be true, then as a trader, we see 250, 255 in here. I'm probably not going to get there today, barring some kind of ridiculous disaster. Do we think we're dropping that much on Lululemon? Probably not, but you got to start looking for things like this because that's going to be a big one. And then we talk about Nike as well. Like Nike, I know I'm going to be a buyer at the pandemic low on Nike. I've already said that. We're now potentially breaking 70. You're down at 71. It's flat today, so that's a good sign. But if it loses $70, there's just the pandemic low under it. And I think that's a spot where people are going to be like, okay, well, I mean, how much worse can it get? Like, are you telling me that things are worse for Nike now than at the height of the panic? I mean, maybe they are, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people betting in the other direction. And then same thing with Lulu at that level. At least Lulu isn't at the pandemic lows. But neither one of these looking good. You can find other retail names out there. Just going to pick on these two because those are two I actually watch. Wow. I mean, you think what's interesting is everyone panics when tech goes down a little bit. Sometimes if you don't own one of these stocks, pull it up and make yourself feel a little bit better about how much your Nvidia pulled back or whatever other name you're worried about. There's a heck of a lot of worse charts. As the market's making fresh highs, yeah, there's a lot of things that were making lows as the S&P was making highs. Those are the things that I get worried about if they're in your portfolio. I don't worry about 10% pullbacks when I'm giving the stocks to the daughter anyways, and hopefully a long time.
Yeah, I need to use some of my money for retirement, and hopefully that happens a little sooner rather than later. And yesterday made it a little bit later. All right, you know what didn't move at all yesterday? Look at Walmart's chart. This is yesterday. It just went doot. Did absolutely nothing, as if it was being bought out by somebody. It did absolutely nothing. Walmart. I just want to say that
that's just bizarre.
And as opposed to a Nike or some of these other retail spots, Nike has big retail stores, as does Lululemon. But Walmart just continues to work. I mean, look at how smooth this is to the upside. This is a fantastic name. There's the split. There's the breakthrough, right? I mean, we broke through that $60 mark. Split just before that, breaks through. Now you're up higher. It continues to work out. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a good spot to hide out in case you're worried about the market, which I feel like most of us probably are. And then Costco as well. I mean, this was a nice drop in as well, back into the 50-period moving average. Did we already get Costco earnings? Earnings data is not listed here.
So.
We'll figure it out, but we already got Nikes. So Costco coming back in right here, falling back through to the 50-period moving average of 835, 836. So, I mean, this is not, you could drop an anchor here on the daily to its bottom back in April, and we can have a quick little look to see where we're looking at there. So maybe 800 or so for an anchored VWAP from its most recent lows. So that could be another trade coming through for Costco. And then, like I said, I mean, Walmart just continues to be quite awesome. I'm not even going to drop a VWAP on this thing. It'll be so much lower. Let me just check out Target. That's a name that we don't talk about too often. Okay, so let's zoom this back out. So they're on the 200 period, but still, well off its highs. But still, for the year, you're still up on this name as well. So yeah, some of the retail spots not doing so horribly. I feel like it is going to have to be profit-taking time in NVIDIA and Meta. I mean, Meta's coming up. Or do we have Raheem coming through today? Do you know of? Yeah, okay, yeah. Perfect, okay. So we'll just get over a few more stocks here because Raheem will come by. This 450, 460 area for Meta, like I've written this down here today in case we get real nasty with it. But like yesterday we were 486 down to 463. Like, so we already moved $20. Like if that can come into this 450 area, I just think that we have to be sitting there and put on some risk to try to go long, 451, 452, something like that, to see if we can get a bounce off of that level. I don't know what their quarter is going to be, and I know that maybe they got a little scared with YouTube there and some of the ads going through. Maybe it's going to be a bad ad market, but like Meta right here, I just think it's pretty nice to look for something. Plus, you're going to get the 200 period moving average. I don't know. Well underneath it does not look good, but like these levels, and I know this is the real good level, 430, but it's just like just for today. Like if we can come into this 450 area, wick down, broke through, kept going, bounced off of it once we made those highs on their last earnings report. So not their last one, sorry, the beginning of the year. So anyways, I really think Meta has a good opportunity here to get going. You can probably tell by my voice I'm not super excited about buying dips down here at 450, but I'll get excited when we get down there. So. All right, let's go back to the desk here and continue with the fun show.
Yeah, one thing that didn't get, I mean, it was down, but one thing that didn't get hit really yesterday was some of the mining names. Gold, silver, both downside yesterday, but this is a weekly chart right now of GLD. So we're just back to support, essentially, on higher time frame for GLD. So yeah, Raheem's stuck in traffic. Which never happens in Toronto if you've been here recently. You can't go anywhere. So Raheem's coming. When he will arrive remains to be seen. QuantumScape, meanwhile, getting hit here pretty badly after the close yesterday. Report worse than expected. Tried to hold 7 briefly after the close, but wow. Not so much this morning, down 16% here, worse than expected across the board.
Yeah, it's not a good look here, Brendo. Reporting about 25 cents per share loss, maintaining their forward guidance for 2024, about $250 to $300 million in revenue. Again, this is more of a science experiment, guys, that they're still being perfected. They're looking to take it to scale, hence the joint venture with Volkswagen. So we'll have to see how this does, but this is kind of the gold standard in battery technology for EVs. If they can get this right, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, going to take a while, though. That's the end of the day. I mean, Toyota was another one that was talking positively about solid-state batteries. So going to take some more time, apparently, though.
Yeah, what goes up must come down. Now, I don't call this a Christmas tree. Other people like to call this a Christmas tree formation on QS, or just in a general sense, because green up and like red down, like nobody decorates the Christmas tree that way, and if they do, I mean, more power to you, but it's almost complete. You're like I almost said one good day away. One bad day away, I guess we're already having one, from being right back where the breakout started at like $550. That said, now the obvious point would be, hey, it's down 15%, SSR bounce, $5.50. Well, maybe you also add like $6 in here, the 50 period on the daily. But the consolidation that happened at that price for a long time, over and then under 550, then where it broke out from, I kind of feel like that's going to be a spot today. If by some, it's not a miracle that it gets down there because that's a bad thing. A miracle to me is good. So if it gets down to 550, I think that would be an obvious spot to look for an SSR bounce on QS. $6, even round number, you're probably testing that right off the open. And I'm not sure this is the stock that I'll be looking at the open. I feel like that is going to be a Tesla or a Tesla, Ford, NVIDIA, like those types of, those names are going to be out there. Amazon is looking really good. Those are the 4 I think I'll be looking at 9:30. But SSR bounce, 550 on QS. Like it was just there, and that's where the breakout came from. But not looking good for them at all. With these volatile stocks, you know we can do this. You know when you get these big moves that quickly, that a retracement can happen and it can be all the way back. That's baked in. When you get a double up on a stock like a QS, you've got to, I'm not saying you have to take it, but it is what it is. Randy with the reload, I didn't do it. Don't look at me.
That was Obi.
Obi decided to mutilate the bear.
Obi has a couple issues.
He did some surgery on the bear.
Cheers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was wrong with Obi, after all. Obi was chased Google yesterday, and that just It was right.
Well, we were
it was
talking.
wrong,
He liked the short,
Yeah.
and it was. I mean, obviously, it was a
didn't work
short
early,
eventually,
and
but
it worked
early.
late. But everything was working late.
Don't touch his bears. Apparently.
Ah, man. So you still like energy, right, Randy?
Yeah, that's doing okay.
I mean, how come you didn't warn us about all these things in the car business here, man? I mean, General Motors is like the worst company of all time.
Do you see Ford today?
So is Ford. Look at Ford. Look at Ford. I mean, look at this daily chart here.
I sold Ford at 1480.
Neil sold Ford at the very top. The very top of Ford was 1485.
Okay, technically 78.
Neil sold it at 1470.
Now remember when it was at 12, I said I had an order. The whole time I said I had an order in front of 15.
That was a great one.
And I'm like, I'm getting out of this stock and it can go higher and I don't care if it goes higher because I just don't want to be in Ford anymore.
Yeah.
I still have like 10%, but because GM is better.
No,
I
they're
think.
both shit. Both.
Well, I think it's less shit.
Look at this one. Look at Ford. If you were in a coma since 2010, what am I talking about? You can go back to 1993 right here. And that's the same price Ford is.
Yeah.
As they are today. Like, it's not even worth looking at. I mean, the highest I only ever gotten was $40. And that was back 99, 2000s. Obviously, we had bailouts and all that kind of stuff. I don't think Ford ever took a bailout.
No.
But at the end of the day, down to $2. I feel like that might be a good time to buy.
Yeah, well.
And then again, down here, 2020 bottoms of $4 or $5. So, yeah, I mean, missing the opportunity to get out there at 14 or 15 seems to be pretty good. I don't even know where I'm long on this name. It's not a big position, but I do own some Ford and some GM. And then obviously yesterday, with the biggest and the baddest of them all, Tesla, right here. If you own this one since 2010, you know, you'd be buying this one at $3, $2. Meanwhile, your Ford shares are negative right now. This is $3 back in 2010, and it's only $220 today. So, anyways, there's the monthly chart on Tesla. What a headache this name's been for a while. You know, like, talk about trying to pick tops and bottoms. Look at this. I mean, you've had the best of the best. Then, you know, what are you doing with your life? Then it comes all the way back and you feel pretty good. Then it's all the way back to 140 again. Then all the way back to 260. Like, what a roller coaster of a ride here for Tesla when you can compare it to other names, you know, like an Apple or something where
Microsoft.
You know, I mean,
Softy,
Softy, any of these names.
But then that's where you get the explosive upside.
Right.
It's like Bitcoin. Like, you know, you're not going to get that explosive, ridiculous upside, life-changing, unless you have that downside built in. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly not with Ford.
So what about, go ahead, Randy.
My problem with Ford is they're a single source income largely from the F-Series pickups. And that's their bread and butter, and that's all they have. They're losing money on electric cars. The Lightning has been a nightmare. There's just not a lot of other residual income sources that are going to pay out that dividend long term, and they need to diversify and get, you know, other income streams coming in. And it's been difficult. Don't get me wrong; it's not been easy, and GM's feeling the same pain. Yep. So if you're losing money on things you make and recalling on the things you make money on, there's a problem there. It's a bit of an issue. So are the investors happy? Not so much. It's
Not so much.
It's an issue.
All right, Randy. We are going to have Raheem Alani.
Oh, he
stepped
just
in the building.
just
so that's
walked
really nice
in.
to see what he's up to. We'll talk to him. Well, he probably won't talk too much about Ford. Magna, Canadian company. I mean, if you're looking for parts, that might not be a horrible spot as well. But yeah, EV's not really the place right now. Energy seems to be strong. Energy was one of the only up markets over the last couple of days, considering what we've been dealing with here. So, all right, when we're ready, I mean, they're just getting set up right now back over at the desk. Thank you for that, Randy. When they're ready, we'll throw, but I know they're just getting set up here. What I want to talk about was we have XLE. We do have Raider Trader coming on at 2:45 today or so, maybe 2:30, I don't know. We have Ryan Faluna on as well today, so if you want to hear some more talking heads, other than Neil and I, they're coming through this afternoon. We're going to have Raheem Alani coming up. Raiders at 2:15.
Oh,
so
right away.
Get ready to go. Get ready.
Yeah,
2:15.
locked and loaded.
We're going to have some talks with our guy Raider Trader there and his Stanley water bottle and all that stuff. Should be a lot of fun. All right, so yeah, XLE. This is a name that we talked about with Raider. We like this name. This is the name that I'm invested in as well. But this is what's been happening with the oil services over the last couple of days. USO, a little different than that, as we saw oil tick up yesterday. But right now, XLE is falling back into this $90 mark. I want to buy more of this as well if we can get it back into the $88 area. The thing is like you're always going to look silly when we did sell some at the top. I mean, we've talked about that. We actually went over this with Michael Noss as well. about getting some out up here. He still likes energy, and people hold them for different time frames. But I like the name. We did take some out, and I think it's time to buy some more down here at the 200 period moving average. Again, this is a daily chart, so still continues to work. I mean, despite everything with Ukraine, and then of course Iraq there. I mean, I know what's happening with the Middle East right now isn't really too concerned with oil and stuff like that, but that's been holding up right there with OPEC issues. We'll see if there is any reserves in the United States or not. And I think a Trump presidency probably means something to oil, at least to drilling in the United States.
Buy XOM if he wins.
Yeah.
Or before. I mean, what before?
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, that's just another name to look at in the energy space as we come to political headwinds coming up very, very soon. What is it? I just heard yesterday it's 108 days or something like that.
Is it that?
Is that right? That can't be right.
It feels fast.
Wait a minute.
I mean, it could be right.
August, September, October. Yeah. That
So-
makes sense. 108 days. Yeah.
Only because Randy came by. I don't know if you showed XOM's chart, but so XOM, and I'm going to juxtapose this with CVX, which I'll admit I own over instead of XOM. But XOM has been holding an uptrend since making that low. So there it is. So made the low, there's the top, and it's essentially holding a channel. I'm going to hit save so that the next time I look at this pretty XOM chart, if it's up at the top of that channel, I know what I want, and the same thing if it touches the bottom. But very different to CVX. CVX has the up channel, but you've got a flat bottom, so higher highs, but you're not really putting in the same degree of higher lows. So XOM looks like a good chart. CVX looks more like 152 or bust. Now we've got our man at the desk, looking sharp as ever, Mr. Raheem Alani with Brendan.
RBC skill is anyway. We're on.
He's here. Raheem Alani made it.
Traffic.
Yeah. Toronto. It's expected at this point, I think, to get anywhere. It's twice as long as you expect.
Yeah.
We're going to continue the conversation we had a couple weeks back on the mining side of things. We just talked a little bit about gold. Overall, the market downside here past couple of days, tech leading. Given what's happening in the world geopolitically, given some of the different storylines that are establishing themselves going forward, this is maybe a spot that we should be looking at putting some money into something a little more safe.
Yeah, certainly. I think now is a very interesting time where gold is because, like you just said, I mean, we were just commenting about the last time I was here and what's transpired in the last 2 weeks. There's been a few things geopolitically, politically, all over the place that have taken place, and it's been a tumultuous 2 weeks. And if that's any indication of what's to come for the next, 4.5 months, I think we're in for a bit of a roller coaster. So it's interesting to know, especially with gold, because gold is seen as typically a safe haven when things start to unwind or start to wind, whichever way you look at it. When things start to get furry, people move into the safe haven of gold. And gold's actually giving the feel of a less speculative investment than it's been in the past. When in the past, gold might be a little bit, you weren't sure which way it would go. It's seeming like people are getting the risk delta of a riskier asset by getting into gold right now. So it's really interesting to see where that's all playing out. And you're also seeing it at higher levels with central banks. Now, central banks typically don't step into gold as much as they've been doing. If you look at any of the central bank data, countries in parts of the world like Asia are making big purchases on the central bank side. So when you see central banks put their toes into that, they're probably also seeing the same things happening with geopolitical risk. We don't know where the US dollar is going to go, so gold is getting more interest from central banks. So those are a couple of things as investors out there you may want to look at. Take a look at some of those notes, because if those things are happening, you may want to start looking at gold again.
Meanwhile, on the inflation side of things, we get a print this morning, GDP south of the border, back to the upside ever so slightly, showing a little bit of strength still in the underlying economy. Canada comes through with its second rate cut in a row this week. We also got a budget out of India.
Yeah. So what I think that indicates, especially on the Canadian side, let's start with that. When you get the rate cuts, as we all know, things become slightly, ever so slightly cheaper. And so now you have a little bit more money to play with. And where we typically see when rate cuts start to come is obviously real estate. Let's leave that alone. But for the equities world, where we all care, is we start to see people start to put money into the riskier equities again. So the small cap delta starts to get there because of the fact that people have a little bit more money to play with. okay, now I've got a couple extra $1,000, whatever it is. I want to now put that into those lottery tickets, those smaller cap stocks, because those give me the largest opportunity, the largest delta. So I'm going to put some money back into those. So I think we might start to see more money migrate back into the small caps.
All right, speaking of, this is also going to correspond with a few quarterly results coming out in the mining side of things. We can obviously play gold, we can play silver in the metals themselves, or we can look at individual companies. First one you wanted to talk about here, FM, First Quantum.
Yeah, so First Quantum we've talked about a fair bit over the past, year, 2 years, because of what they had happen with Panama and Las Cruces shut down. So you obviously have seen big dips, and the chart speaks to itself. But one of their partners, Jiangxi Copper, who owns 18.5% of the company. They're a big copper smelter in China, and they actually put in about $219 million into the company again in January. They just announced a shareholder rights plan with First Quantum, and that relates back to, we get into geopolitics, but Canada has said any Chinese investment and takeout targets here in the Canadian markets have to go through a different review. And so part of this might lead to that is they said at any time if they wish to divest or acquire additional shares above a 5% threshold, they have to go to First Quantum for approval. But what that also means is that if they want to buy assets off of First Quantum versus buying First Quantum as a whole, they have the ability, or they will be able to have that discussion with First Quantum. So it was an interesting move to see. Nice to see that that's happened, I think. And I think the market will respond positively to that. First Quantum is down 52% year over year, but they are up, over the long term. So just keep an eye on what's happening with Panama. They are getting one of their new Zambian mines into production, and again, this thing with Jiangxi should be good for them.
As you mentioned, challenging headlines for them as well. Smaller one now, penny stock, FDR on the Venture Exchange. This chart is
nice, right?
Impressive, to say the least.
Yeah, we want to look at a couple things that correlated with the price of gold. So we're seeing here $2.66, up near their 52-week high. They are a gold producer out of Suriname, which is just, I guess, in theory, next to Guyana, excuse me, and put out some results of 4.6, 5.3 grams per ton. No one really wants to get into the details of that, but they put out some really extraordinary results, high-grade results. They are fully financed to get all their work done this year in 2024. So it'll be an extreme name. Watch, good region, high-grade results.
I want to make sure we get to some of these other small caps here. Element 79, this is going to be on the CSE, Canadian Securities Exchange. If anybody's wondering, here in Toronto, it's ELEM is the ticker.
Element's going to announce this morning that they have an agreement with their local constituents. They are based in Peru. And they've had a lot of alluvial mining that's been done, artisanal mining that gets done over there. So they have a partnership now signed up with the locals that will continue that. And for a mining company to say that they are going to get into revenue doesn't typically happen very often. So they are suggesting that they'll start generating revenue off of this artisanal work that they have on in their community. So community partnership, generating revenue. They'll be looking at a few things like that this year. So that'll be a really good move for them.
And one we've spoke about in the past many times on this show with you that you're actually involved with here, Hispania, coming through with some news over the past week or so.
So they just announced this morning that one of their insiders has in the market purchased shares. And I've always said, if you love yourself, you buy yourself. So a couple of these companies that we've talked about as well, a lot of insider buying. So a director, that's me, purchased 1.575 million shares of the company in the market. I'm a strong supporter of the company. I believe in what the infrastructure is in Spain. I believe in the CEO and what they've found. So I saw, some weakness in the market. Unfortunately, these things happen, and I'm fully supportive of the company. So I thought it'd be a good time to go buy. So I bought 1.57 million shares, and I'll probably buy some more down the road.
This is gold.
No, zinc, copper.
Or zinc and copper, as we've mentioned before. Great stuff.
It will be gold. I like the segue.
Rahim Alani, Managing Director over at OCI Groups here in Toronto. Good to see you.
All right, guys.
He loves gold.
Gold. He's gold.
Why not?
There.
See, here's the thing. I just want I think Rahim, at least one time when we do this segment, he should just come out straight up Mr. T. Because he's got the fresh. He's got the fresh look. If you think about the '80s, he's definitely just rocking Miami Vice. all day long. So why not, when you're talking about gold, just drop in, throw out that Mr. T bling, and just say what up. No, actually, we're just talking about support on GLD here. 212, 50-period moving average. Like these would be the spots. Hey, if it's turning into like the appreciating asset, we're just going to trade it like a stock. Like these would be the levels. I mean, 212. I mean, obviously 211, 212 here, and then the 50-period moving average resistance, kind of support there. Moving averages tend to matter. But before we move on, Tesla got green just now, and it's holding. So like there's already been a bit of a bounce. I mean, obviously, it's rare to see a stock this big be an SSR play, like down 10%, and then a continuation today. And obviously, with earnings through, I still think there's a place to short it. And were it to get into the low 220s or into the 220s, that's a spot. And resistance yesterday is the first place I look for resistance today in a general sense. So I don't know. I thought 200 on an SSR bounce, like this 200 period moving average is about 205, and just underneath it's a 50. When I sat down this morning, this is where I thought SSR bounced. I mean, pretty clear as day, right? Like 205, it's a 50 period, so the 200 period on the daily. And we'll get to all this. Now you're starting to move up. So the pre-market low becomes in play as well for Tesla here. And again, it's just like a scout kind of idea. It hits it and then rips. I just don't want to get crowd-striked like Tuesday. What day is today? Thursday? Yeah, it was Tuesday. I don't want to get crowd-striked where you actually have the bottom and then don't hold the bottom. So we'll be looking out for Tesla today. It's done a lot of volume. NVIDIA's done a ton of volume as well. But I like that look on gold. I've never invested in gold myself. I got some silver bars buried in the backyard. Yeah. Actually, I don't. I do have some silver, but it's not buried in the backyard.
Yeah, I have a couple ounces of that. It's $20 an ounce silver or something. Yeah. A little different. That price might be wrong. All right, so right here, instead of investing in gold itself, I was saying to Neil, like, I like gold, but obviously it doesn't pay a dividend. So I think like just sitting in something makes some sense there to diversify, but I would prefer Barrick Gold. Again, just get into the miner. I think if we can come into $17 again here, the 50-period moving average for Barrick Gold, it just pays 2%. It's not like it's huge or anything different, but I feel like a little safer in this name as well. $16 bottom there for Barrick. So, another one of these miners. Raheem always drops different names, copper miners, different gold names as well, and he did today. So just to get to one of the majors, I think Barrick Gold is fine here, and you can collect a dividend. And there's also dividend-paying ETFs, so you just got to go over there, find some of those. There's also GDX if you want to get the gold miner exposure as well. So yeah, a lot of different avenues for this, both here in Canada and in the United States, different avenues and tools to get involved with gold. GDX again, down that 2.61%. So nice little pullback in the space. It's a good thing that Raheem went over some names and why there could be some bullish cases here for that, especially now that we see digital gold starting to go to the downside right now with Bitcoin and Ethereum starting to head lower. So some asset classes getting wiped a little bit right now. All right, 9:08. We still got to go over the watch list. So let's go back to the screen and do that.
Yeah, running a little bit behind. Let's get right into the market here.
54.72, guys, is where we closed out on the closing print yesterday. So we'll say 5,500, which is a key level of previous support going back to June 21st to July 1st, where we're holding 5,500 as support. So we'll use that as resistance. To the downside, let's see if we hold the overnight low at that 50-point level, 54.50.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you go down to the description of this video, hit the link for the watch list, enter your email address, and then it just magically appears every single day in your inbox with everything you need to know on it pre-market for free from us. Let's go. Ford, top of the list here, downside in a big way this morning. CEO Farley saying they're going to focus on more affordable EVs.
I wonder how much money they'll lose on those. All right, so here's how they did, guys. Earnings. This is how EPS. They got 47 cents per share, missed big there. The street was looking for 68. Revenue, they beat on that, 44.81. The street was looking for 44. Net income, this one was bad, 1.83 billion. They printed much higher last year, 2.92. Really, it came down to warranty costs. So yeah, their quality products, not there yet. Warranty costs for older vehicles impacted profitability. They are looking to fix that, though, by improving quality. And their traditional business, Blue, kept everything up, but the EV unit Model E, Brendo, keeping things down.
Yeah, still losing on every single one that rolls off the lot. The expected, there it is, the expected loss going to be $5 billion to $5.5 billion within the EV segment.
Yeah, look,
Sorry.
we sort of saw the writing on the wall with this move, right? I mean, we saw GM sort of get hit, and that brought Ford back into $14. I mean, you could have easily got out of that one on that GM, that bad report from GM, and that was just a couple days ago. So Ford kind of just repeats the same thing all over again. But it's falling into a decent level. I mean, I think if you were interested in buying some Ford up here at 1150 or down here at 1150, I think that's something reasonable to look at. I don't want to buy this name. Like Brendan said, they still can't make any money on any of these EV names. They had that. I mean, it's not like they're new to the business here. They had that Mach-E, that Mustang. They've talked about this F-150 for a while right now. Seems like hybrid names might be the play here. It's like Tesla's losing, Rivian's losing, all these names, GM. It's just I just don't see any love for the space right now, and I can't see it getting any better. I mean, I thought maybe with financing and everything like that, we could see rates with the way that they're coming back in. Hopefully, we haven't even had any rate cuts yet, so let's not, consider that until it actually happens. Although we're pretty sure it will happen.
Yeah, we're good.
I just said for Ford here on the sticky note, I try to keep it as simple as possible. We had Rivian yesterday for a big trade breaking through that 1640. It went down to 16 and then ended the day there as well. I don't have a break low for Ford here today because it's already down that 14%. Rivian yesterday was just down a couple points ahead of Tesla. So I just said we could fade the pops on a bad quarter. So yesterday, we wrote it all down here. We have AMD on the list, Meta, Google, Amazon, Ford today. Palantir too, I actually forgot to put that on the list. But if we can get back up here, and I don't know if we're going to get anywhere near 1240, but that's where the 200 period is, or at least it was when I was writing this. Now you're at 1230. And then, you had a little gathering here, but it's just going down. Like when I wrote this down, it was $12. I thought we could get a little bit of a bounce, especially an SSR bounce. You're already down 14%. I think the expected move was only 6%. So well in the range to be active today. So Ford doing RVOL, obviously 7 million shares. This just continues to be a dog. We talked about a name like Intel and that we wanted to short that for the last week and a half. Ooh. 100,000 shares here on ARCA in the live
Just
market.
chilling on the offer.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, that's
Anybody
not normal.
Buy 100,000 shares of Intel right
That's
now?
not normal in the pre-market, but you.
But yeah, so sorry, I'll just finish this. And then the story remains the same here. I mean, look at Intel. You could have got out of it up here if you liked it. Now you saved yourself some money, falls right back in. And I said to Neil a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was even a week ago, I was like, yeah, you're not going to get Intel back down into this space again.
It was exactly 1 week ago.
And that's exactly what you're doing. So the NASDAQ makes all-time highs 7 days ago. Intel starts going up on like, yay, Trump. And then all of a sudden, this starts coming back in again. And you're going to get an opportunity to buy this name a little bit cheaper than you thought you could have. So there you go. I mean, I just think that some of these big, solid, American names getting hit. GM, Ford, Intel. The list goes on and on. Nike. There's a whole bunch of names that just keep getting hit here. And it's all weak consumers, so.
The good news for Ford today is it's down over 10%, makes it SSR, and it's got like the even 50-cent levels that kind of make it simple. Support at 1150. Well, I mean, it's support when it happens, if it happens. So the May bottom, 1150. If it gets there, I look SSR bounce. If we pop to the upside, the 200 period on the daily is at $12. The 50 period on the daily is at $12.50. So if it pops into those levels and pop and fade, that gives a trade at a pop and fade pre-market high if it takes that out, the 1250 level from the daily. So I got 3 places where we get to that price and I'm looking to put something on in for it. And outside of that, I probably don't trade it, but I have a feeling with that relative volume and that 14% move, double the expected, we're going to see minimum one of those levels in the first half an hour of the day here on Ford.
Tech led yesterday, big move to the downside. We're seeing a little bit of weakness right now as well. Here's Google. I mean, you can look at any of these. Google's still chopping around, kind of flat in the pre-market, but AAPL still negative. Apple, meanwhile, trying to almost 0.17 left to go here, almost positive on the session. So a little bit of relative strength, but yeah, worst day since 2022 for the NASDAQ yesterday.
Oh, it was bad. It was a lot of blood yesterday. So specific to Apple, some China data came out overnight. So China's overall smartphone market grew by 10% year over year, but Apple's share of that growth dropped big. So now iPhone shipments in China dropped about 2% compared to Q3 of 2023. This follows an initial period of growth in 2022 when they cut prices to stimulate growth artificially. Huawei really making inroads here, launching their Mate Pro 60, which caught everybody by surprise last year, Brenda, because they were able to make those 5G chips without ASML's ultra, what is it called? The lithography machine. That's
we'll see. I mean, if we get a bounce or not today, and how long it lasts, guys. But Apple seemingly a little bit stronger than the rest right now.
Yeah, I'll take your Apple and I'll raise you Amazon. So Amazon, and look, when we had that, it was Tuesday afternoon, and if it wasn't, it was Monday afternoon. I think it was Tuesday. When you had the Warner Brothers matching of the NBA 11-year NBA contract, yada yada yada. Essentially, NBA's like, nah, we'll stick with Amazon. So Amazon's getting that contract. They're up 1.25% into the market, just turning green, like back and forth here on the NASDAQ. So you're leading the market on Amazon. You're bouncing off 180, which we've already bounced from. So talk about a stock that didn't break through support, last week's support yesterday. I know it went down, but it didn't break 180. It held on. Then we hold on to it this pre-market. So I do like Amazon for longs today. Now, when we sat down, it was at $181. So I kind of thought 180 was going to be a play. At this point, outside of that 180 level, you closed essentially at 181. That puts that in line for a dip buy area. So previous close and the 180 level on Amazon, that's where I want to see some continuation. Try to just be, long, strong stocks if you can. This is at least relatively strong. So that puts it into play for me. I also have, Alphabet is on radar. It did stair step down after a huge rally that would set that 176 up to be a monster level. But as we're bouncing in the market, Google didn't go green with the rest of the market just now. So I don't know how likely 176 is going to be on Alphabet. If it were to get there, that's a fade spot for me. So I like Amazon for longs. I look to fade Google, but even this bounce in the market hasn't got Alphabet anywhere near to that 76 level.
Yeah, so we don't have too much time left here. Again, I'll just show you some of the names that I was looking at here because we do have AMD on the board coming next, and then I don't have anything for crypto or CMG on here, but we do have Meta, Google, and Amazon. So I have longs written for all of them here. So the 450 level for Meta, the 170 level for Google, and then 179.50 for Amazon. So the reason why I like Amazon, I think the NBA deal, plus there's a couple upgrades and we're falling into support. Amazon's already come back thanks for the likes there. I just saw a couple likes pop through there. Meta coming into 450, and then Google off 170. So, Neil kind of just touched on most of them there. I thought that Meta, and I've written this down here again. If you're going to look here, I just have, this is another chart right here from TradingView. You're going to see here, there's the 50-period moving average right here at 492. Obviously, we bounced off of that, hit that nice move to the downside yesterday, and really gap fill into 450. I think 451 could be a good spot where we start this long. And then if we lose 450, then I think that this 200 period of 428 comes into play. So I think just in a disaster kind of situation today, I really like Meta down here near 450. But I don't know if that's going to play. That's just something. Let's keep it up here in case that happens, because yesterday I missed Palantir to the short side, broke that key level that we really liked, that 28.75. That started tanking off of that level. And then something that is relatively strong, yesterday, it wasn't. Okay, Google was bad. They had that report, was down 5%, not great. But Google tried yesterday to get going and then held this level that we're at right now. So if the NASDAQ's going to rebound a little bit today, and I know we talked about Apple and all that kind of stuff, there are going to be some strong names that you can go in there and pick and choose from. And I just thought that, and again, we write this down, pre-GDP numbers and all that stuff. I thought we could fall back into 170. We don't have to. That was just a level to look at. And if you're looking at a daily chart, I did buy some Google yesterday and NVIDIA yesterday. Not looking too smart on either one of those, but, Google's fine. This is going to be a level. So 171, 170. I need to be long Google at some point today. Just have to find it. If it's back to VWAP and we have to make that trade early, then we might make this trade early. Let's see how the market reacts. They definitely like it. I know we have to go on, so just one more play right here because we'll wrap it all up, and then we'll be done. Amazon, wow. I mean, wow, what a good move right there. And again, this is the thing. You know, we get in here early, we write these notes down. It took off on that GDP number and continues to go higher. NBA deal there, really nice for them. They had a great Prime Day. So, I mean, you know, weak consumer, if the case, where are they going to shop? We saw Walmart do nothing yesterday. And honestly, although Amazon hit the skids, that's for sure, and finished at its lows, this 180 cannot be ignored. I mean, this is 180. This is 181. But if for some reason, and I don't think it's going to happen again today, but this is another name that we have to get long. I feel like you have to be long here today. Amazon, if you like the long, and you got to look Google. If you're looking big tech, I mean, those are the two names for me to go long. And then Neil surprised me with Tesla being up here into 217. I wrote down 222, and that's not on the sticky note today, but I thought 222, just because if you're looking at the 20-minute chart here, this was the high. We bounced and then tanked off of that, right? And so we did have a retracement yesterday. We nailed this yesterday for almost $12 at the low, which we did not get. We wound up taking $7 on it, but that was a great move early, and I just think a retracement back up here into 222 could be a fade spot for Tesla. So, hey, man, today's going to be a really interesting day. So many names have so many possibilities that really excited, and we didn't even get to semis yet, so let's do that now.
Oh, we're already green on NVIDIA to the tune of 0.3%. Relative strength coming in as well here, 115. Next, maybe, I mean a minor headline, but another partnership on the server side, AI server side, worth $950 million, according to Bloomberg, for NVIDIA today, but another group yesterday that just got absolutely crushed all day long.
Yeah, it's been tough for them because possibly more embargoes coming in as a result of, you know, the Biden administration wanting to shore up their AI technology and not have it shipped out to China. So in response, NVIDIA creating a new GPU specifically made for China, another one, not the previous versions that they had made. The new B20 is supposed to be shipping out to China in 2025. It's supposed to be a legal version to ship of the Blackwell processor slated for later this year, Brendo.
Yeah, while we're here, we're also going to mention Bitcoin or crypto stocks across the board, ETFs coming off the launch of the Ethereum ETFs that was really a non-event so far this week anyways. Volume outflows to touch on from that side of things. Here's Bitcoin, meanwhile, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, right back to 64,000 guys for BTC.
Tis. So just very quickly on semis, NVIDIA just went green. NVIDIA, there is 117 support. Obviously, in the afternoon, or actually that's like early afternoon, it dipped off 117. This is where, if it's under 117, I'm looking for fades into that level on NVIDIA. I was asked my thoughts on Micron. I gave them in the chat, but I feel like the two places I'll be looking today just showed NVIDIA. If this will ever load, Intel as well. I think Intel broke that last channel down and then spent yesterday kind of making a new level. So when it makes a big move down, I just look for it to continue stair step and then short previous resistance. The afternoon resistance was at $32. So NVIDIA 117, Intel 32. And my thoughts quickly on Micron were simply, if I was trading Micron today, this is already giving back 30-something% from the highs. 105 was the April bottom. It's trying to bounce off the 105 bottom here today. So Micron has been very, very nasty. Like that feels like if it holds 105, there should be some kind of a long if it can hold that at the open. But I'm going to be trading NVIDIA and Intel today.
Intel I could see getting into that one.
If it bounces.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a, I still think that's a long, so that could be a good one there. So I wrote down AMD here, 145, but the thing is, like, we're already back up to here. So now let's wait to see. A nice $1.50 move straight to the upside, and we've already bounced off 145. So we written down on here AMD 145. Yesterday, we really hit this name. We hit it real good at the end of the day, man. We shorted off this 200 period. Look at this 200 period. So yesterday, we had the short at 153. We had the short yesterday at 153. Then we had the short right here at 146.75, and that closed at 145. We took $2 on a... What a great afternoon it was, man. The last couple minutes there in the afternoon, the last hour, we really started stacking up a little bit by holding on to some of these shorts into the close on such a horrible NASDAQ day. I thought that we could rebound today. I talked about this with Adara on the show yesterday. I said we'll probably have a rebound day in the NASDAQ, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to get up too huge. But could we have another red day? If we do, I think the pain comes from semis again. So I do want to be short this. Let's just play it. There's the move down. We did get the imbalances coming through right now. Let me have a quick little look. There's Palantir with a sell. NVIDIA comes with a sell. So there it goes back down to the downside as well. So yeah, just a couple plays for me. I would think AMD up there. I like this one. I mean, Neil said 117. I like, 117, 118 makes sense for me on NVIDIA. Let's have a quick look. But again, AMD is sort of where I was looking just because it had that weak little sauce there at the end of the day. Just boom, down in. Thought we could play off the 200. We already broke that. So for me, yeah, let's not worry about too many levels. But like if 148 ever came into play, that would be pretty good up here for AMD. So. All right, let's go talk to some crypto. I will be in AMD. I mean, do not fret on that one. So we've already done crypto. Okay, so we'll go to CMG in a minute. 143.40 possible break low right there for AMD. That would be the trade that I'm looking for early. A 143 pre-market low break on advanced micro devices.
One of the only earnings names that was positive after the close yesterday. We're downside now for CMG, 1.7%, and at session lows, testing 50.75 here. The report itself actually pretty good, including, $400 million buyback announced for Chipotle.
There's a whole lot to say that's good here, Brendo. So let's get right to it. Revenue, almost $3 billion. That's up 18.2% year over year. The street was looking for 2.94. Adjusted EPS beat as well. Same store sales. Those are stores that were open for a year. They did 11.1% better than they did last year. Operating margins continue to expand. Almost 20% margins now, up from 17 last year. They opened 52 new stores in Q2 this year, and they're looking at opening about 285 to 315 new stores by the end of next year.
There were a few analyst moves here this morning. I was just trying to find them all. Mostly downside guys with price target cuts and a couple of downgrades, it looks like, too.
So November 2023. That is the last time that Chipotle was underneath the 200-period moving average on a daily chart. It's been a hot minute. And it wasn't, and look at it, it wasn't even down there very long. And when it came back up, it was the rally to end all rallies, which I guess it's been doing since its inception. But that's what can happen if it gets back above this at $53. But I don't like that you trap some longs. So I think today, just zooming out a little bit so you can see, today it seems really unlikely. The big level to me when I look at the daily is $47. So underneath here, that's a big one. 50 is just kind of a round number as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know if I see a trade that I like. I can tell you this much. This thing gets down into the 40s. In my personal account, I'm going to be buying this stock. I haven't put an order yet. I'd probably do something like throw a stink bid at lunchtime or something along those lines. But if it gets back above 52, this will be about $52.50, that 200 period. If we get back above that and are trending over, then I'm joining longs in Chipotle, but I'm not catching the falling knife with this stock. I think some longs got trapped on the good report. So I'll be very, very patient. It needs to get green. It needs to get back above 52.50, or it's got to be 47. So I got to sit that one out. We like NVIDIA. We'll be trading NVIDIA for Tesla. Like, those are things that we'll be at the open. I do like Chipotle at lower levels in my personal account, though.
Less than, just about a minute left. Look, I think this Apple trade could be something. I mean, we're trying to break through 19 right now instead of go back up to the upside. That 19 held pretty much all yesterday afternoon. So that was one level here that we could look at breaking through to the upside right here, 219. And if you want to get real specific about it, then I think it's like 219.25. That little top break right there. So if you do break through 219, maybe scalp. Well, I'll be scalping some out, as you know. That's how I do it. But 219.25. A level to look at there for Apple. And I just put a buy down here at VWAP if we can get 217.50. So a couple orders that I have pending right now. I'm looking at Google long in case that comes in. We already talked about that hero play on Meta. If that comes in down to 250, I don't think that's going to come through. And then we have our Amazon bids as well now with only 30 seconds to go. And then I am, early my eyes are going to be on AMD because we hit that 153 yesterday, like wicked awesome. So let's wait to see if we can do something like that here today again on AMD. It just faded off that 145, which was a level that we liked. So if we can get back up there, then maybe get faded through it again, then we'll look at that with only now 10 seconds to go. It should be another volatile one, I would think. Although the NASDAQ opening up flat. Hey, Adara, how's it going? 3, 2, and 1.
There we go. Party
instantly to the
started.
downside.
Yeah, right away the NASDAQ moved down. Nothing on Amazon, though. Like Amazon still holding 182.5, so Amazon stays strong up that 1%. Tesla gliding, no break of the low, looking for maybe a dip and rip on that. Ford's not really doing much of anything. Nvidia, all right, Nvidia slightly heading down. I thought we'd fade into 117, but Nvidia with that sell imbalance already heading to the downside. So all the 4 stocks I'm watching haven't done anything crazy with the exception of Nvidia in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I'm going to wait a little bit as well. AMD trying to get back up here into 145. I was actually thinking about going long. We got a little bit of a flush there in the market. Then we started to bounce back upside again. So we could definitely look at something long side, I would think. But let's just give this another second. I mean, we're not even letting the first candle close yet before I make these comments. So let's wait. All right, NVIDIA, it looks like it does want to potentially get a little bit lower. I mean, breaking some pre-market levels, you'd have to get through 112. To hit that. So that could be something there as well. I mean, a break right now of 113 isn't the end of the world for NVIDIA. So I think that maybe let's try that. If we can get that early 112, you know, we'll see if we can get a little bit of a break lower on NVIDIA if we just take that level. But the NASDAQ could bounce here. So no doubt about that. Coming up into the 50-period moving average here is NVIDIA up to 114 again. So, all right, here we go. Starting to get upside. So we will play, I think, that break a little bit lower if we can, but we're just bouncing right now off 114. So that's that play. AMD still not doing much. Yesterday's big mover, of course, Tesla. And they're not doing much either right now. Nice move up to 219 and then kind of a fade back in, trying to hold the 200 period at 215. So a little bit of a dip buy opportunity there potentially on Tesla.
Yeah, it looks like 216 was the spot for Tesla. Not even VWAP, not even that 210 level. Like none of those are going to be in play. I see a few people talking about crowd a little bit. Now Tesla's really starting to rally up, almost like at 220. This could be another dip buy. Amazon, we were sitting on the bid. Amazon now 113. It bounces off VWAP at 182. So just maybe have to adjust target. That said, I don't want to adjust target and dip buy long because look at the market heading into the downside. So it's about the phase at this point.
Oh, I was telling you guys, man, we got Obi, we got Neil here, we got them all. But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, you got to put on the trades. And there it is right there. We just gave you that trade. We gave you the 113 break lower there on NVIDIA. So we'll get it. We're out of just 30% right now of this trade. Let me put another bid out here at 50 if we can get that. But so far, so good here with NVIDIA. It's already 50 cents. Let's see if we can get, there it is. Now it's 50 cents. Let's see if we can get lower now and put that first Dollar Club member onto the board right there with that one. So yeah, man, here we go. We got it, and we got it pretty good. It's NVIDIA. Nice little downside trade here to start the day. I don't want to clap. Someone said, oh, guys, stop clapping tech. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, my kids got to go to summer camp. And right now, definitely the long term's not paying off for that right now. And there it is, Neil. We are in the money right there. It only took 2 minutes. I'm still hearing myself in our ear a little bit. There it goes. Nice downside move into 12. I got to take this out. Down into $12. There it goes. Yes, sir. Oh my, Neil. Now we're going. We're getting spicy one more time. I hope everybody's with me again. Nice move on NVIDIA. They're $1.30 now in the money on NVDA. Oh yeah, we like it, and we like it a lot. There it is, man. Goal hit. We're here, and we're ready to rock and roll. Neil, what you got on board over there?
I'm still being patient here. I wanted to pop and fade, and obviously we're just falling in on the market. I'm going to be hands off on Tesla, unfortunately. Tesla did not get into that 220. I liked it over 220 for a fade, and Tesla, as the market hit lows, is trending higher. So I know the drill. If the stock you want to fade is strong, then you've got to let it get to the key price level. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Amazon's starting to pull back in. I think we're going to get the potential dip possibility on Amazon. And the SSR bounce play in Ford. Ford is simply just holding the low. So I like the 1150, but Ford doesn't seem to want to go any lower. If it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. So right now, you've got a double bottom at 1175. If it tests this on the market weakness and bounces, then this is where the bounce play has to be. Let's go over to Adara at the desk already.
Keep an eye on Bloom Z here, BLMZ. This is its second day trading. It had its IPO yesterday, opened here around $3.60 per share, initially priced at $4.30 a share. Currently still around that 360 level, up about 40%. BLMZ, $30 million market cap, guys.
All right, Tesla is broken through 220 and still flying. 221 now coming in to play. If you had it right away at the open off 16, like that was your level, congrats. You've got your SSR bounce. It's gone like $5-6 already, 5 mostly. But you go into resistance. This is up here around 222 to 224. So if we get up there, that's where we're looking for the fade on TSLA.
Oh, man. All right. I mean, NVIDIA right now, we're over $2 in the money. One trade, and there it is again. Every single day, this seems to be a beach day. And it's nice to put beach days up on the board because, again, you know, you guys want to celebrate some summertime. And there it goes to the downside. We absolutely crushed this play here today. All right, are we going to get $3? I mean, this is, you're seeing it right here. You keep hashtagging real trading. This is what it's all about. I mean, there's traders behind us here. There's traders watching us live right now. This is a real trade just put on right now that all of us could have. So there it goes. Nice downside move. We talked about trying to use more shares, trying to hit the names that we wanted to hit, and the rest, as you can clearly see, is history. So let's wait to see now what happens here. Hopefully we get a little bit more of a downside push as we are only in right now about 25% of this position, which is actually still pretty good for me. Normally we are out a lot more than that, but I'm not sure where this day is going to bring us. So we do hold for that move. So great opportunity there, out about 50% as we mentioned here. And then here goes a nice little downside play for us one more time. And it's a good one. So yeah, right there. It's been a really great month. We've been trying to trade some of these names. Let's go on and see if there's anything else popping around. Although NVIDIA looks like it might want to hold that 11 spot. Let's put one more bid down there in case it does want to hold. Let's go back over and check out some more trades that are, you know, on the note. So Google right now, we did like this long. It seems like we were dead right about a long, but you had to have that specific price, which I wasn't going to get long at 172 and change. So we'll have to wait to see if Google wants to do something. Right now, it's kind of like meh. Talking about Meta, we'll see what's going on right now. 458, we are getting that dip down in Meta, but not quite low enough. Miss Adara.
Green here for American Airlines, currently up about 1% on the day. They initially were poised to open quite a bit lower. Having earnings, they did beat for earnings per share, but missed on sales. Guidance was a little bit lower. But right now, having a nice recovery here for AAL, guys.
I don't know if that got 10% downside, American Airlines. I thought it was 7.5, but if it was 10, I would have added to the SSR list. So Tesla did wick, broke the 220 level, wanted to see it test that 220. There was a break, did not get past 221. I shorted 20s, gonna get first order at 19, but it's same story. If it breaks the high, I'm gonna let it go, wait for 225 or 24.25 is the next level up. There on Tesla. So we took our first crack at Tesla. It does not want to turn on. You could have scalped it for 50 cents, but if you're giving it $1, I'm not taking 50 cents. And you got to wait for the next level into the upside. We'll see where it tries to settle down a little bit. I was short the pop on NVIDIA. First available pop at this point looks like VWAP. And VWAP in here at 112.5. So you're either getting the level you want or joining the trend to said downside. And then the last one, I mean, here comes Amazon. Pulling back in 181. This was the first level we liked it. 180, if that holds, we definitely like it down there as well. So Amazon's starting to get down to our level. Just have to be patient with it. It was so strong in the pre-market, looking like it wants to give up those gains. With the NBA deal, the fact that it's up when the market is down, those are the reasons we like Amazon, despite looking long most things, short the pop on most things today.
So I saw you were, I'm in Tesla right now, so I saw that you were in and out of that one. I'm going to give it a little bit more room, and I'm not sure about this one because, again, you are playing with fire. I was going to give it to 220, 250. It looks like we could give back some of our...
That's where I'm sitting.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, yeah, I mean, it's getting, there it goes, man. I mean,
it's already there. Holy crap, Tesla.
Yeah, it's already there. It is a nice move to the upside right now for TSLA, and there it goes. So we wanted to look at this level, but it looks like we will have to take a little bit of a hit on it. If we fade off, and it looks like we're trying to get back into the downside right now. We're just short at 221.60 right here. Okay, so now all of a sudden we're flat on the trade. We just got hit out a little bit down there. That was kind of lucky that we made that move in, and we got a piece out right there. So yeah, not a good trade there, but saved by that last little push down on Tesla right there as it just tried to take 222.50 again, and then there's the fade back. Oh, wow. This is a very, very it's going to take it out. Keeps getting bought up. Tesla right now. Good trade if you're in it, but you have to be in it to the long side. We're in it short. There it is. We just got another fill down there. Okay, pretty violent name here for Tesla. Let's go. We're now back into the money on this name. It is Tesla. Let's go. Let's see if we can get some downside push now for TSLA. We like it now, but we'll see where it winds up. I still think there's a lot of strength in this name, guys. Tesla making its way to 222.50. Let's see if it holds. What's up, Adara?
Some updates here in the world of biotech. First, we have Viking Therapeutics. Strong volume here, up about 20% after earnings. This is not a small cap, $5.5 billion market cap. They do have a 13.7% short float. They've run in the past, and they had a smaller than expected loss per share here. So VKTX strongly to the upside. We also have AbbVie, which just reported earnings, announcing that it's discontinuing its further development of its experimental Alzheimer's drug. So keep an eye on ABBV and LLY, which also has its Alzheimer's drug with that news, guys.
That Viking was a huge runner. Good things for them, bad things for, the other GLPs, unfortunately, if you're in them, which I know I am. It is what it is. So we got out of Tesla when it broke high. It then wicked, got us to the next level. We said, well, it's already back up here. So it got to the 222.5. That's essentially where I was shorted. I got that out there, the $0.50 as well, 221.5. But now it wants that even. So if it breaks this, the next level is 225. And at that point, all bets are off if it's clearing 225. I don't want to fight it forever as Tesla's looking obviously strong. So there you go. We're able to scalp some out of there, thankfully. We did get Amazon on the dip buy. A lot of things were pop and fade ideas here today. Amazon we liked, partly because of the NBA deal, partly because it happened to be up when the market was down. So at least we'll ring register there as it bounces back into VWAP. It tagged 181 pretty much exactly, and now bouncing back through. So we got some out in front of this 182. VWAP's just above that. Pre-market, the breakdown right at the open was 182.5. So if we break VWAP, 182.5 is going to be the next target to the upside there. But wow, Tesla is absolutely flying at this point. So at least we have one long, but this market just went bottom back to the top. The only issue was on the NASDAQ, it's only 100 points.
Yeah, it's not really flying around too much.
It's not that big.
All right, here we go, man. Back into it now. 50 cents in the money now on Teslas. We have that short, 223 and change right now on TSLA. So let's see if we can get a little more love to the downside for Tesla. That would be nice if we could. We do have a reload position here, and I don't know if it's going to be good or not. And that is going to be NVIDIA. NVIDIA's trying to go, and we just touched that 200 period. So we got to think about where we're going to be getting out if and when we're wrong. I was thinking 114 to sort of get us out of that, to take a dollar hit on that one. We could, we're trying to get that short in here as the futures are looking at fading right now through. So we're not going to, like I said, the month that we're having has been quite nice. Let's not throw it away on a couple bad. Well, we won't be throwing our month away. We're talking about. Let's just stay with what we've been doing, and that is trying to play names that we believe are going to have decent ranges, that hit certain support levels, and then take advantage of it. So here comes Tesla back in right now. I'm going to put some bids out. This is now $1 in the money on Tesla. So there we go, man. More than $1 in the money. If we could break down through 222, then maybe we could have something one more time. NVIDIA now trying to get lower. So show to get low right here. If we could do that, that'd be all right. Nice little win here for NVIDIA if it does come into the 60s. We just took a little piece out there. Let's see if it can scream a little bit lower. Looks like NVIDIA does want to be strong, but it was a decent out right there on the 50-period moving average for NVIDIA. Let's see if it screams just a little bit lower. Oh my, Neil, there it is. The bang, the bang, the bang, the bang. Coming through again there for Tesla. Good trading here on that name, as I know you and I have been looking at that. Tesla's starting to go to the downside right now. 40 cents in the money on NVIDIA. Yeah, man, so far so good. This has been a good day.
Yeah, look, we went short the pop on NVIDIA, lower high, didn't get the breakdown, didn't get the pop and fade at 17, but the lower high just came on a fail break of 113 even in VWAP as well. So we're into it in the quarters, actually at 20s. It just bounced off VWAP as we're speaking. So big test of the market now as it's right back into those lows. That 180 is going to come into play here on Amazon as that's trying to bounce off of those lows. Tesla, it was so close. I'm glad you got it because it was so close to getting into that 224, 225 zone. I thought that was going to be the spot today, like 225, line in the sand. But if it puts in a higher low, I still want to be fading up at this area. It's above that 220. Put in a higher low and show me a chance to get in, and we're going to take that opportunity if we're able to get it. But we do like this one, and I keep saying SSR bounces. Ford saw 1250, sorry, check that. Ford saw 1150 and didn't care. So it's still heading to the downside, $11. If Ford goes to $11, I'm looking SSR bounce on Ford today.
Oh, man. Is Ford, yeah, I should actually have a look at that.
16%.
All right, 16%. Oh, wow, geez. All right. All right, so there's a nice little fade out for NVIDIA. NVIDIA does come back up and touch that level, but we still continue to get shorty, getting low on this one. All right, so there goes Google right now as well. Man, we doing pretty good here today. One more time and put it right up to where we need to be again here today as we look. 170 coming into play for Google, so this could be another one. We talked about trying to get long into this area, so let's try to support that decision right now. It just faded right into us, so the futures are heading downside. We do have big time winners on the bid, on the offers, right? We have NVIDIA is 80 cents. Tesla's almost $1.50 there. Let's just wait to see what happens now with Google as that looks like it wants to get lower as well, as so does Apple. So some of these names starting to come in. Let's just support the decisions that we've already made. So breaking through 170 and we will be out of Google, but we do want to take a shot down here. So we'll put on some more shares as there goes Google trying to make a move back up. We are long right here at 40s. Maybe we'll take a piece out for 50s, but I'm going to put the stop in right now at 169. 90s, basically. If we can break lower than that, then we will get the heck out of Dodge, and that will be Google. New position alert for us as well as Apple just went down into 217. If we can break that pre-market low, then we could definitely get out of the way for this one as well. 216.87. So we'll dig into a couple longs right now, but we do have almost, like I just said, Neil, it's been a good day, man. $2 now. In the money. Bye-bye, Tesla. Bang, Neil. That's what we're talking about. It's great to have you back. It's great to be in this market one more time again. And there it goes, man. See you later on Tesla. Took a couple swings and misses for sure, but there it goes, man. We told you we're looking for trades that we can hold and that we can put on. So shout out to young Jeezy. He puts on, you know what I'm saying? There it is right there. Let's go. Nice trade on Google as well. All right, Neil, man, kill him. Let's go.
We got 180 bounce here on Amazon. It just bounced once. We're trying to get it a little bit more tighter to the 180 level. We reloaded this one after the bounce off 181. It's still stair-stepping down. NVIDIA is starting to head back to the upside, by the way. All right, so NVIDIA just bounced off 112 and bounced off VWAP. It was a reload at the same price, 113.20. Okay, 25 doesn't matter, 19.25. But now you're bouncing off VWAP. Got to be cautious with this. This is a higher low and a VWAP hold if it happens.
What are we even doing?
So I'm going to get out if it breaks 113.5. Otherwise, we'll wait for that break of 112. So Amazon, we've got the long in that one as it's heading back up to that 181 level. And NVIDIA, okay, now it's starting to look okay for the short. You're underneath VWAP. So if we get back into the low of the day, that's an obvious target for us here on NVDA.
Oh, man, we were looking at the wrong stock. Our net just absolutely skyrocketed with that Google trade. So by the way, Tesla is just $3 in the money right now off that short. So that was an absolutely fantastic look right there for Tesla. As you can see again, big shout out to Wayne in the back as well as we start to go. There goes Tesla, man. Bring the pain on this one. This is going to be a good one for us here on TSLA. Apple really falling out there. I actually did not put a stop order in for Apple. So yeah, we got to address this. Right now it is at that pre-market bottom. Let's have a quick look at the futures. This is, again, just a starter position, but we did mean to have that 217 out. So I think we should probably think about doing that again. The futures are right down here looking to break lower, and obviously Apple will not be able to withstand too much pain down to the downside. But oh man, are we doing damage on this show here again today? Yes, we are. As it continues to make these moves back in here, look at what is happening with NVIDIA. Nice downside push on this name as NVIDIA goes multiple dollars now back into this level of 118.80. And wow, oh wow, you know, Tobey Maguire was bit by a spider. Brendan, he bit by a goat right there. So there it goes. Nice downside move coming through one more time. We here, baby. This is going to be 11-2 this month. It's going to be a good one. I don't know what's going to happen today, but it's been a good start, man. 950. Very, very exciting to trade here again today.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, when it gets to your level, you take the trade. So 180 just happened on, I was about to say Tesla, and that's not true. It's Amazon. It wasn't really the bottom. It's pre-market and overnight levels. Yesterday's low was actually like a little bit higher than this, but the 180 is where we wanted to have it. We've been able to scalp some out, but it's starting to look pretty heavy in here. If the futures lose the bottom and we lose 180, I do not want to be fighting this stock. So Amazon's looking okay, but weak. NVIDIA's starting to look.
That was huge.
Yeah, NVIDIA is starting to look okay on the reload. Maybe we get VWAP again. That's certainly a possibility. But I want to jump back into it. And I said if Tesla puts in a lower high, that I liked it for a short, well, this would be where it either does it or doesn't do it. If you're testing right back up to that top, it's not 225, but if it does not break this high, I'm going to jump into it. So still just Amazon and NVIDIA, and Ford stinks. It's not at $11 yet. But the way it's going, I think there's going to be a play at the even dollar for SSR and Ford. All right, here comes Tesla trying to put in a lower high as we speak. Amazon can't seem to get past the 40 level. 180.40, bit of a seller. If it breaks through that, then we do like Amazon to hold for the next dollar.
All right, I'm going to try it. We did get stopped out there on Google. I mean, we did have a couple good outs there, but at the end of the day, we did wind up flat, if not a little bit red there on Google because it did wind up breaking. And we were long in the 30s, as you can recall, of course, man. Tesla with a nice battle back, a real nice battle back. We did have a good out there on that as well. All right, Google's bottom there. We got to just respect it because I'm not, like I said, 169.50. That's fine. I like the even penny level there. We will take another shot here at Google, trying to respect that low. So, you know, I think the market could bounce from here. We'll do a little bit more of a deep dive on the market when we get back from Adara at Zdesk.
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade, always playing catch up in the market, missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else, pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
The key word there being free. Make sure you have your ear to the ground. There hasn't been any breaking news stories, but I'll give you a breaking news story. Amazon just lost 180. Thank you, Randy. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. I didn't ask for one. That's all. It's all good. It's my bad.
I asked Neil for one. He did say no.
I know I didn't want one at the open, but you know, after 10 o'clock, I was going to say. But that's all good. We appreciate it. I've already had two, so it's all good. 180 just broke on Amazon is what I meant to get to there. So we had the bounce. Remember I said I couldn't get through 180.40? This was 180.40. Brick wall at that level. We tried to reload it, or we did reload it. It did not break, so now it's underneath. We had one good bounce, two good bounces, but then two that did not work out. And of course, at the end, when it breaks, the shorts were right back at the low of the day. So there's a lower high on Tesla. Sorry about the wick on that chart, guys, but Tesla right back in, bit of a lower high being put in. If it gets down to VWAP, got to take some profit into it. It's one of the few strong stocks in the market currently, but the way things are headed, I'm not sure how long that is going to last. NVIDIA is looking okay, but see how it's not falling apart yet? Like no low of the day. You saw Amazon break low of the day. The NASDAQ's at the low of the day. NVIDIA doesn't seem to want that yet. So a bit of a different story here. From the open on NVIDIA. I have not checked in on Intel because we've been focused on Tesla, Amazon, and NVIDIA, but Intel is stair-stepping to the downside.
All right.
So I like this one for short. It would have been 32. I don't know if I join it at VWAP. If we're not going to break down the way I like on NVIDIA, maybe it's going to be a bit of a Intel day instead. Yeah, NVIDIA just broke down. Now it's like a couple of bucks in the money. So nix that. NVIDIA's doing fine.
All right. Yeah, so we just tried Google again. We did have Amazon. We did get Amazon 179.75 and then out right there, but the market is coming back in quite nicely right now. We did try Google again there, and that did not work. Unfortunately, again, for us there for Google. So we'll fall on Google today. It'll be our red stock of the day right now. Apple does fall in, and we're going to try to use this against that 217 again. 216.50. We're going long here at 217. We're long at 216.84 right here, right now. So, yeah, we'll see if there's some kind of a hold happening here. Would be nice for us. And if it is, then great. If not, then we still have some shorts on board here.
Oh, my God.
One thing that fell in was Meta. Meta, we're long at 452.25. What's up, Neil?
Oh, no. I was about to pay for locates on something, but ARM lost $150. So we're like, NVIDIA is doing fine, but ARM is down 8.5%. So look, sometimes you have to adjust. I thought Ford might be an SSR play today. Needless to be said, if ARM goes down 10%, I'm not saying I'm going long when it gets down 10%, but I am going to be looking for an SSR bounce somewhere, some point today on ARM if it gets down 10%. So ARM is, like NVIDIA's down 2.8, ARM's down 8, 3x. I mean, NVIDIA's at the low of the day here, futures are at the low. My rule typically says here, if it holds the low, I get out and look for a VWAP retracement to get back in. So everyone's has their own style. The short is to VWAP. If it breaks that, the next level is the low of the day. And Tesla, obviously, I'll be 1 for 3 on Tesla today. No question about it. Lose, miss, kind of get it here. But if it breaks VWAP, I think down in the 217, 218 level is going to make some sense. You got to be able to ring the register when you can. I killed one fly on Tuesday, or I think I got him. Yeah, I got him on Tuesday. I'm going to get that one here again today because we got another one flowing here. So the market is headed to the downside. Amazon was the stock I liked long, and obviously that's a bit of a disaster. But Tesla now at VWAP. Bounces VWAP. I probably get out of this as strong as it is. 220 would be that level. So if it holds onto it, you'll see me take the win and just get out of the trade. Wow, ARM. ARM is cratering. It is down 9%. I'm going to go pay for those locates. It wasn't on my radar. I didn't pay for locates on ARM today, but I'm going to do it now.
All right, so we find Meta. We're $1 in the money on Meta, but that doesn't. I have 456 in my head right here for Meta. So let's see if we can retrace back into that area. Let's hold on to see if we can make dreams happen there. All right, we just hit the wrong key again on. We put the wrong price for Amazon. But if Amazon breaks 179 right now, then we're going to get out of that one. We just reloaded a little bit down here. Some levels have just come into play. It's relatively early, although it's 10 o'clock. We talked about how we made all of our money yesterday. All the money made yesterday, of course, was going with the trend. And by the way, it's $1, $2, $3 now for Tesla in the money. We did not reload that. We could have. There goes Tesla to the downside. Let's hold something. And by the way, we have another $3 winner. It's with NVIDIA. So $3 in the money on NVIDIA, $3 in the money on Tesla as we continue to go right now. Rates. I mean, will Amazon go? Will Amazon go, Mr. Bezos here, or not? Because this is going to be basically the deciding factor here and not deciding factor, but for the long. I only have one long right now, Amazon. So we'll wait to see if that does continue to work. We do have Meta, but Meta for me is a shot in the dark. We could have just taken $1.50 on this and didn't. It went to $4.54. We could have taken almost $2, $1.50 with the spread there, and we didn't. So we're going to let this one settle down a little bit here. As there goes Tesla.
There goes, Tesla 220 is gone, VWAP's gone.
Monster trade alert on Tesla, man. We put damage on this name yesterday, and it's right back on it again today. Tesla going to be P&L number 2. P&L number 1, it's not even close. NVIDIA breaking through 110 right now. See you later with NVIDIA, guys.
Yeah, VWAP has come, VWAP is gone, unfortunately. So Tesla broke out here, 218. I'm going to be bid 217, trail 218 in this range. So again, like I said, I'll swing 1 for 3 on it. The good news is at least you're back onto it, but NVIDIA's tanking. ARM is almost at 10% to the downside. And we sometimes be careful what you wish for.
Oh, my.
Market breaking lower. Ford is holding a higher low. So the SSR bounce might not be at $11. It might just be right here at $11.35. So I'm going to see if I can get $11.35. The low is $11.30. Don't think we want to hold it past any fresh lows there on Ford. So I'm on the bid trying to pick it up. Tesla, as we said, 217, 218 is that target zone. let's say get down in the zone. If it bounces off 18, I'm out looking for VWAP. If it bounces through 18, I'm looking for it to come out the other side through 217, or we're just going to put the trail on. That's the plan of action over there on Tesla. ARM was a late addition to any trading plan. It does not get 10% down, just bouncing 143. If we see 150 again, that was so big of a level support that's resistance for me today. So if we see 150 on ARM, I am going to be going short at that level on any kind of a bounce. It seems relatively unlikely at this point.
I mean, before we go to happening now, right now, we're $4 in the money on Tesla. We're $3 in the money on NVIDIA, but all of the longs, absolutely all of the longs for me got clapped. So yeah, it's not going to be a very eventful day, but it's not bad. Thankfully, we do have these shorts. Otherwise, it would have been a troubling day, but we have them, so it's all good. All right, let's go over to the desk with Adara.
Lots of range-bound action here on the S&P 500, slightly down in the day. NASDAQ a little bit weaker here, down about 0.8% of the day. Last I saw, we did have that GDP number coming through, quarterly GDP advance print for Q2, 2.8%, so higher than the estimate of 2% and much higher than the previous print of 1.4%. We also had initial jobless claims a little bit lower here than we were expecting, and lower than expected durable goods on a month-over-month basis for June. Earnings continue to be the focus and things that we're going to talk about some of these earnings names to keep an eye on in this segment, including Ford. Ford still down about 16%, trying to make a bit of a recovery. They did beat for sales and total revenue, but they missed here on their earnings per share, and they maintained their guidance, and some investors and analysts are expecting an increase in guidance. So F to the downside right now. Also to the downside is Edwards Lifesciences, EW. This one getting a slew of analyst downgrades. They reported after the close yesterday. They did beat slightly on earnings per share, but they missed on sales, much lower than expected guidance for Q3 across the board. And they also did announce a couple acquisitions for $1.2 billion. So EW down more than 20%. Last but not least, CMG, another earnings name. Initially, this one was moving higher, then now reversing a little bit lower. They did beat across the board for their earnings, and they also did announce a $400 million buyback program, guys. So lots of earnings to keep an eye on.
I'm just going to cancel my NVIDIA thing here because I'm going to get out at 110 if it breaks back to the upside here. Let's go 110.21 or something like that. Give it a little bit of room right now. We do have a monster winner on board with NVIDIA right now, man. This is over $4 at the low there. All right, well, we are in a spot now as we got to watch out for Meta because, I mean, as much as we want this market to crash because we have these big shorts, we also have Meta on board right now. 451.50 right now. Look, this is not... I said, hey, what kind of a day would we be having? And I should have maybe done the math. Of course, Meta could go down 2%, but this is what we waited for, 450. So we took it at 451. I don't even really want to take any more shares. If we get filled here, we get filled here. And we'll wait to see what happens. Amazon, one more shot there. It does break 178.50 back down in. We were able to get something out there in the teens, but it is continuously breaking. It is breaking, not continuously breaking. It is breaking lower right there for that name. Meta back into the money or a bit back to flat right now, 451.50. And then there it goes, getting hit right back down. So, yeah, Tesla trying to do a little bit of a dance here at 220.
Oh, yeah, just
it gets down to 218, man, right there. I'm going to put a bid down there. If we can get 218 on Tesla and ring the register on $5, then we should probably take a look at that. And Meta just goes bye-bye on that one. Where did we even get out on that? All right, 80's not bad. So there goes Meta. So the longs today. Good thing we have these shorts, but the longs cracked out there today. And I don't even want to go short Meta, but that was a good move right back into 450. We tried it. We tried it. We wanted to do that trade. Looking down over.
I'm
fine.
stink bidding that stock.
Yeah, we'll be red on that name
442, today, I think 69.
All right. Yeah, we'll be, that could come in 442 today. NVIDIA right now, $4 in the money and still going lower. We should have smashed that 110 and we didn't because we had other longs on board. So that was a mistake. $4 in the money on NVIDIA, $350 now in the money on Tesla. I'm going to put a bid right here at 218.
So Tesla trailed out there. Actually, I had my trail set back through 219 when it bounced off 218, but I still had my stop order at the lower high, which, when you have one stop out, you have to cancel that one. So that was my mistake. I ended up getting out at the $0.50 instead of the even. So probably 20 cents or so, I ended up giving up there. Now it's bouncing back through VWAP, so we've taken that one. It's come and gone. If it puts in another lower high, I'll try to jump back into it. But Ford, okay, so Ford pulled right back into that lower high at 1134. So there's 1130, sorry, higher low at 1134. I'm in long at 36.5, looking for the bounce into VWAP. It's SSR. If you are just tuning in, Ford's earnings, Stellantis earnings stunk. GM already disappointed. Tesla, obviously, didn't have a good one. So down 17% SSR bounce play. Hopefully in effect as the market is continuing to crater. I did get Intel finally, although it's not moving that much. But the lower high came in on Intel, 31, 35. It's not really... It didn't give any fills above the 30 level, so all I have right now is 27s. I was trying to get filled at 32. The high is 36, so ideally, I want some Magic Johnson, Larry Bird fills and not 27s over here on Intel. And we did get out of NVIDIA. Well, I got out of NVIDIA. It still hasn't bounced. So I'm looking to enter. Maybe we'll get ARM. I say maybe. It's a very, very large maybe that ARM is going to give any kind of a bounce either, but ARM is now short sell restricted. So ARM is SSR, the 140 levels coming into play. There's no significant levels down here until you get to $132 on ARM. So outside of 140, it's like $8 lower.
Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, I really like ARM. Oh, man. All right. I don't want to interrupt Neil, of course, there, but we bought Meta down there at 448, so now $2 in the money long on Meta. All right, so NVIDIA right here, I'm thinking about a 109 maybe break out right now as the market trying to get back to the upside. I don't want to give out too much money back on this name, but it just did touch 108. I'm thinking about getting out down there for NVIDIA. At some point, man, these names are going to get bought right back up, are they not? But I don't know, man, 108 and change now for NVIDIA. Let's just put a bid down there. If we get it, we get it. If not, we do not. But the couple outs there at 450 as we come right back into that level there. There's NVIDIA. Geez, Neil, that was a trade. Good trade for you too there on NVIDIA. As NVIDIA right now is infinitely my best stock, and I'm sure that you can see that. As look at this reload. Look at that reload right there on NVIDIA. That to me is what made my day right there. So good.
Wasn't Clint Eastwood?
No, Clint Eastwood did make my day, but that was the other night.
I guess it's the bad guy that does.
Yeah, we were watching. Yeah, so right now for today, we're talking about P&L wise, but yeah, Clint Eastwood, good name there for sure. But yeah, Tesla looking for that 221 break back up to the upside to get out of that one. If we're going to be wrong there, that would be something that I'm going to look for. But yeah, Meta, $1 still in the money. NVIDIA might have been a bad out. I don't know. I'm taking that over and over and over again. Google fail on that one down to 169. We tried that bid at 170. Get the heck out of the way and worry about it later was I was thinking there. Wow, NVIDIA. So I bought this name yesterday, like during lunchtime. Like what was that price? 15s or something like that? Yeah, 150. Yeah, probably even higher. Yeah, probably around here. Yeah, 116, 115-ish. Well, right now you're down another $10, down to 107 right now, and still cranking lower right now.
I'm picking some of that up at lunchtime today.
Races off and on, and that those bills are already paid right now because we're losing a little bit of money here in the personal as this market continues to get low. And
not in a flow rider good way.
No, not in a flow rider kind of way right now. He's probably short. These rappers are such geniuses. Remember Ja Rule was like, yo, man, you gotta hold on to that.
You know what? I need to know what Ja Rule thinks about this market tank because only Ja can save us and pick out the market bottom, I think.
The savior of this.
That's 100% true. And you know what? And then we can take the profits and we'll do another fire. I can't even. That thing was a dumpster fire. Pun intended. So ARM is at $140. So it bounced up. For now, it's at $140, and it's trying to bounce. It just got to 60s. It's hard to see because there is a red in there. I can zoom out. So it just bounced to 60s. I scalped some out. This is looking very, very heavy. Heavy is bad for longs. If it can get to 142, I think good. I feel like this could be a situation where the better play is when it rinses everybody and then holds a level. The way that it's looking, like what happened on crowds. So shallow scalp and then look for some kind of a false break to the downside with this SSR bounce. If it goes from here, we'll go 142. Ford is an SSR bounce. We just got, look, it held 1135 as a higher low. 1155 is VWAP. So I'm long here, 36.5, with the stop at underneath. I don't know if I got it. 1134. If it breaks underneath that, I'm not even giving it to low. I'm risking 2 cents to try and make a move. First stop out, we're grabbing 7 cents, and then we're all out if it gets to 11.55. Maybe hold on for a little piece. So that's the range on Ford. Very different from these other names that we are trading. ARM is a dumpster fire. Tesla did not get the reload as we're getting into ARM. That just failed VWAP and is heading lower. So, the other thing to update, Intel, we got this one at 31.27. Tried to get more at 30s. Low of the day is 31 exactly, 31 even. Bounces off the even, we get out of the trade. Yeah. And Intel just went 1%. That's Intel, that's how it moves. Although I suppose today it could do more than that.
We could always do a little more. All right, 444. I mean, we're about to break 445. So we got to watch out here. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm fumbling with the keys here because I got to get the stop in. At 440, oh no, sorry, I'm on NVIDIA right there. I was meant to show you guys Meta right there. Okay, so we are in Meta right now. I'm just putting the stop in because I don't want to let the market, I don't want to market out of this. Sometimes I'll let the keyboard do that. And I don't want to do that. So, if it does come back in, I'll be comfortable getting out, but I want to make sure that it doesn't completely market me out of this name because there ain't too much liquidity available once this stock starts to move. We are able to take a good winner on it, which is why I liked it. But we had talked about Meta for a minute here and how volatile this name can get, especially when the spread opens up. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something to be a little bit concerned about for me on this name. So I'm gonna watch out for the spread here on Meta and just see what we can do with it. Hopefully it can make its way back up to the upside. There's the fill right there. Let's go. Right there, the shorts, Neil.
Oh, what the heck was that?
Did ARM just bounce? Tesla right there. We just wind up taking, guys, on that last Tesla fill, 470 on that. So good little trade there for us on Tesla as we shorted the you-know-what out of it. Good name there, but not a good name with Meta, not a good name with any of the longs. You might have just had one in ARM. Is that what you were doing?
So the best way to describe what happened here on ARM is there was a seller at 142, which was resistance. I saw it for clear as day. It bounced off 142 2 times, and I'm like, okay, it's not breaking 42. That was the target area. I put an offer in at 90. When it filled, it was someone marketing up to 144 for over 100,000 shares. So it broke 42 with an order to buy into 144. And that guy sat on the bid, took the fill, it's right back at 142. So if you're wondering what that spike was, it was a buyer who broke a level of $2 with a single order on ARM. I'm out of the trade because it looked like there was going to be selling there, and it's right back underneath the 42. So unless you were, you had to be holding it and then just see the guy and then just sell to him at 144. Maybe we get a 140 back again as well. And Intel just got to the low of the day, so it just hit 31. So I'm out of the Intel short. We'll ring the register on that. That was insane. I've never actually seen something like that on ARM or pretty much any stock where you're holding a $2 move. Someone just marketed up. Not marketed it. They had a limit order $2 higher trying to get the whole fill. I feel like somebody just screwed up on ARM. So if somebody's trapped long, if somebody's trapped long at 144 and it's bad, then I'm not waiting for VWAP or 150. If it does a fail break of 144, I'm just going to short it there. Because I think somebody just bought an absolute boatload of shares, and who knows whether they actually intended to.
All right, yeah, I mean, that could be a case there. We have a little Kathy Wood action. All right, so it looks like we will wind up losing. I just said to him, I was like, okay, did we just break there? I was like, try to go market. It tried. We almost got back to 447 there, which is where we were at. But we'll get dumped out there on Meta finally. I mean, we tried it too many times. Meta just, wow, look at this move. No love. Wow, back into the name for Meta. That's just getting killed. This is almost back to that dump that we had on the earnings where everyone was like, even me too. In my personal, we sold up here, remember? But that was back here that we sold. We didn't sell again. Right there, 425, 430 could be coming into play there for Meta. We just tried it, but no bueno on that one. So today, so far, all the losers for me coming from the long side, of course. Amazon. Wow, that's 177 now, eh? Apple, okay, Apple, and I don't really want to try.
This is a blood.
I'd rather try to retrace something short again, but there's nothing coming back upside, man. I mean, if there's anything that could be a short that really hasn't broken, I think it'd break even lower. We have back-to-back 8% days now, maybe, on NVIDIA, as that's getting killed again here today. I don't even want to hear what everyone's talking about outside of Neil and I, because there's going to be a lot of people here panicking, I would think, today.
I think
for
there's a
some of their
few stocks that
positions.
are at some scary positions.
Yeah, so let's just wait to see. Maybe we get a little bit of a bounce back, but yeah, I'm not even sure which one's relatively strong or weak anymore, where we want to look.
It's past 10 o'clock. Usually I've found something and I'm like, oh, this stock is relatively strong. These things are relatively weak. Intel broke $31. So I get out the short in front of 31 to enter the short underneath 31. Chipotle is down 3.7%. Spoiler alert, Chipotle beat on pretty much every single metric except for their margin guide. Everything but the margin guide. And they're one of the favorite stocks of a lot of people, and it's down at the low of the day. I don't usually like shorting lows, but sort of is what it is. It's a break of 31 to the downside. I'm probably only going to give it a few cents here. I just don't like shorting the low of the day. Maybe let it, if it breaks back up and holds above 31, I'm going to look for a better opportunity. Potentially. I hate that wick in the chart. Yeah, like we're short under here. If it breaks like threes, I'm just going to get out and wait for VWAP. Not a huge fan of that. Ford is starting to pull right back in. We were able to get up here into the 40s. No real break into VWAP, unfortunately. So once it's underneath that lower high, we'll get out of Ford. And still looking for a resolution on ARM. As I said, it's just not something I've really seen. I've seen big orders do like weird stuff before. So it got up to 144, and they're still buying on it. So maybe someone really wanted those shares and just continued to buy up ARM. Now only 8%. That's a heck of an SSR bounce. If I wasn't out at 42, I would 100% have been out at the next level up there. 144 is an obvious one. I would have covered for sure there. So let's move on to something else. Tesla still looks pretty strong. Maybe it fails at VWAP, and we can short that. I want to sell on weakness. I don't want to be catching falling knives necessarily, and I don't think I want to be standing in front of any moving freight trains. The Tesla does look kind of strong, and I cannot believe that arm move. It was 145. It's the timing on that. I had just offered. Like I just put the offer in, and then it blows like $2.
We had Meta there. It breaks lower. Now we'd be in the money. I mean, what are we going to do about this? We gave back a lot of money there on Meta. That sucks for sure. We definitely hit the bottoms though, right? I mean, I feel like NVIDIA right there, huge bottom right now 5 candles in a row upside. I mean, I just shouldn't say we definitely hit the bottom. Tesla, I mean, that was a good out at 218, right? I mean, we could celebrate the shorts, but at the same time, I told you we got hit there on some of our longs. But here we go. We're right back into it, and that is going to be Apple. So this is making me smile right now as we make back a heck of a lot of money now on Apple. Back. Oh, come on, Meta. Come on, Meta. Right back up. I like the stock definitely today. You can see we've lost the most money on Meta today. But there it goes. These were the targets that I had in mind. I wasn't going to hold it for 450, 448, 449. Nice little bounce back, potentially somewhere to get out of. We did load up on Apple, though. Downside, Apple will be a big, big winner for us now as it continues to make a move higher. So that was a really good reload there. We potentially might have made more money on Apple than we would have on Meta. But the problem with the Meta take that I had was we already got out of it. So we already got out of that, and now we have to manage Apple, which is still at highs. And we only have 30% left of this. We put on a bunch of shares down here at 215, a bunch. I mean, it didn't work for many names today, but now we finally at 1015 maybe have a bottom somewhere in a name. So we pick on Apple right there to go long. We know we like Google as well, but again, wow. I mean, these day two plays just continue to be more and more spicy. I mean, Tesla's again,
right back up.
Tesla was down yesterday. We talked about where it went to 214, 215 right there and got kind of low into the close again at 215. And now right here, getting back $6 straight back up to the upside. And not straight, it was a little bit of trouble. But we definitely bounced off that 217. So we'll look for some more support down there. Yeah, Amazon, bleh. Should not have, we didn't even wind up losing that much on Amazon, so I can't complain too much about the AMZN trading right there, but it still was a negative one for us, for me today on Amazon. NVIDIA, the best stock for me today is NVIDIA, as that continues to just print on the short side. We knew we wanted AMD short, which is what we put on the sticky note. However, Ford was the big miss. I'm going to look at that in a minute. We looked at 145 on here. I mean, we wrote down, Honestly, if you guys, I don't know. I don't take anything in the pre-market because I've been run over before on levels, especially when there's numbers, but get over here. You can see right here, AMD 145 short sell. We had written down for AMD today. The high of the day is 145.11s right there, so 11 cents out. Apple trying to go upside again right now as well. Let's see if it can still hold this 215. I'm going to take one more piece out here in the 70s, and there it goes. Meta still bouncing around that 448. I don't know whatever floats your boat over there, but I'm going to sit on Apple right now and see what this market wants to do.
Yeah, well, we're going to go to there in a quick second, but the things I'm watching are in the pushback to the upside. I covered along too early on ARM, but VWAP 146, 150 is a monster level. I said at the open, if it retraces to $150 on ARM, big level on the daily, that I'm shorting it. So we'll see what happens. It was a monster buyer that took it to 44. It wouldn't be crazy if it got another $5 up. So I'm going to be patient there. And then Intel, with it losing the 31, I got out for a tight stop. I'll look for VWAP or trace. Similar story here for NVIDIA, which is on the way to VWAP. Let's go to Adara, and I believe the small cap recap, right?
Before we get to the recap, we're going to talk about a news story just coming in here. The Paramount Skydance merger apparently reportedly facing a court challenge. Bloomberg is reporting here that there is a stockholder alleging that Paramount this deal has been forced by the Redstone family, Sherry Redstone here. So Bloomberg reporting that there is a court challenge now facing that Paramount Skydance deal. Keep an eye on PARA with that in mind. IWM here getting a little bit of a range, bouncing nicely and holding support off that 218.40 area, which was resistance in the pre-market, and finding a bit of a top at that 220.40. So you have about $1 of range here on the Russell 2000, very much outperforming though the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ as of right now. Quite a few small caps to keep an eye on, including Predictive Oncology. POIA is the ticker for this one. They are entering the biomarker discovery market. They had a successful ovarian cancer treatment study. So POIA on some positive ovarian cancer treatment notes. We also have here BLMZ, Bloom Z. They just had a bit of a move down here, but they are on watch. This is their second day of trading after their IPO yesterday, where they opened at $360 per share versus the IPO price of $430 a share. Last but not least, Microcloud Hologram, HOLO. This one has run in the past. It was running over the past few days. No news on HOLO, but it does have a short float of about 7.9% here, guys.
This meta trade. Thank you, Adara, for that. Okay, well, you know what? I don't feel that bad because we actually, now that I look at this, we got out at 445. It did go down to 443 and broke that level. So now that we're back to 450, which was a level of concern that we had looked at. But there goes Meta right now, all the way back up. My whole day is basically red Meta. It's like whatever I lost on Meta is pretty much what my day is right now. Everything else kind of canceling themselves out. We do have a great trade on Tesla earlier. We talked about how we had shorted that. We're going to be back into the short now against 222. So we'll try to give this one $1 as Tesla's getting back to the upside now and getting excited one more time. Again, we talked about Apple. We still actually have about 20%, about a quarter left actually of Apple. So we didn't do the greatest getting out, but we got some lot out up here. So we actually did pretty good holding. Our first out wasn't until 30s. Then we just took a piece out at 75 on the way back in, up, I guess, but you know, into the highs. Now we're coming back in one more time. So, all right, we'll watch out for that. We already have our stops going there. I feel like Tesla could be the one, you know, where we're starting to make a little bit of money on. We're now $1 in the money on this Tesla trade, but it's not in the money until you get out, right? So here we go, some more outs on Tesla. Give it to me good right there. Tesla, nice move on the downside here. Let's keep printing some on that one. We did hold that short. We did talk about 222, so 221.50. Worth getting some out at if we do fall in like we just did right there. So let's ring the register again on Tesla there. Some slippery slopes, though, coming through. I feel like this name could still go and rip through that 222 level. So let's take a little bit of advantage of that.
It could lose charge at that level.
Yeah, it could definitely lose charge over there. Been hanging around Adara too much. There it goes, 221. Nice little fade out right there. We did cover. So we got some out there, 98s, 96s, and 83s.
I don't deserve the joke transfer.
Not bad. Here it goes. So good cover, bad hold, I guess, as it's going to take it out now back up to the upside. We're celebrating Apple as that rips back up to the upside, but Tesla looks like it's going to be a completely different beast.
So it was the right decision to get out of the short at the low on Intel. Like if it broke down, there was certainly potential. Intel likes to move 50 cents at a time or 1% at a time. If it broke down from 31, great, but it didn't. So thank goodness we got out. Got into VWAP in here.
Look at
I think,
you stupid.
like last time it was at VWAP, it broke over, and then the money fills were over VWAP, not at or under. So I think I got to let it test up here in the quarters before we really dig into it. And Tesla, like Sean already said this, Tesla right back at that resistance spot at that it wasn't 225, it was 223.5. So we press back into 223.5. We're going to look for another opportunity in Tesla and Ford. We're able to scalp some out, and then it broke that low, but it still hasn't broken the actual low of the day at 1130. So the SSR bounce plan for it down 17%, still available at 1130. If it holds outright, maybe I get a 1 or 2. If it does a false break that holds a quarter, which is 1125, then I'm going to look for a long off of this level for Ford. So the SSR play, very much in play there. I am out of ARM, and said I'm not going to, the way it was buying up, not going to short VWAP, but the 150 level is what we'll wait for. So this is what we're doing. It's at $148. The bid that ARM gets sometimes, it doesn't have to make sense, it just happens. And I think it has to do with the low available float and all that. So the market's making a big bounce. I'm seeing Amazon recover, Tesla looking strong, and they're all bouncing higher. I think just patience if you're looking to short back into most of the things that I'm watching. The only thing that's at the low of the day anymore is Ford. That's on my radar, at least. So here comes 150. We're at $149. When it broke 150, your high here is 151.5. So I really have to let it get to this level. Maybe false break it, and then we'll look for the short in ARM. We had to pay for locates, but you know what? Here at Real Trading, 1/8 of 1 cent per share is what we have to pay for locates on ARM. That's a big advantage because the stock moves like dollars at a time.
Oh, man. All right. So we're in. Oh, no, we didn't mean to be this way on Meta. We mean to be the other way on Meta. Oh, no. All right. So Meta just comes up here into force. That's OK. We didn't really do anything right there. I wanted to short Meta against this 453.51. A number just came out or whatever. So it looks like that moved it around a little bit. So here we are. Wasn't there a 10:30? I think. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, yeah, next year.
Yeah, coming out there. I think it's just Nat Gas coming through. Maybe. I just heard it in my ear from the Benzinga Pro platform.
Yes.
All right. So Meta can really, honestly, like that sucks. We had this long. We were digging into the long, only to find out right now that it's above every single long that we had, and it's my worst stock of the day. So. The spread got me, just the violence of the name got me. I wasn't trading too many shares or anything. It's not like we panicked out of it. Just the levels were hit, right? And so when there's panic at the disco, we got to leave. So that's what I was doing, was panicking there. And, I feel like for good reasons. We had talked about sort of how much this thing can move. Like it was just $1 in the money there, and we weren't able to get any bids. So the spread right here is 25 cents. It gets real violent on Meta. So yeah, I feel like you have to have your stops, and all of our stops were hit and hit pretty good. We got the levels that we wanted, right? It's not like we missed anything. So let's see if this can push downside a little bit more. If we can bounce up to 448, that'd be really good. I'd like to take one more fill underneath this 452 if we can get it, because our stop is 453.50, which would put us out 75 cents, give us a little bit of slippage there. So let's see if it can work out. We are now in the money, that's 75 cents on Meta. But again, like we can't get filled, so that sucks. So there it is again. We're at 452. It's unable to get that fill there on Meta. It's very, very finicky on the prices. This could go back up to the upside. We did talk about why we like this 450 level there to be supported. Oh, wow. I mean, I guess we wick down into 443. I can't hold $7. Like, I mean, I wasn't going to do that anyways. Let's see if we get a fill now. We're sitting somewhere in here. Hopefully one more push down. Believe it or not, if I told you we're at 13s right now and it just stopped at 14. So, that's where we're sitting. What's up, Adara? Come on, come down.
To be aware of here with regards to TSLA. Yesterday, Elon Musk posted a poll to, quote, test the waters about whether or not people on X were a fan of Tesla, hypothetically investing $5 billion into XAI. 68% of voters did vote yes. So then today we have Elon Musk tweeting, and this being circulated a lot on stock Twitter, basically that the public looks like it's, quote, in favor. And so this could be discussed with the Tesla board. Basically, Elon Musk interested in discussing a potential $5 billion investment into XAI with the Tesla board, guys.
One wants to see.
Let's.
Uh,
Yeah, we're. Okay,
I
I'm trying to
shouldn't
get some
joke at
more
that.
out of Apple right here. So there we go. We take a little bit more out on Apple as we're at the 50-period moving average. We've already done really well on this name. This is going to be my number one name is going to be Nvidia. It looks like number two will be Apple right now. And then yeah, the biggest loser there right now is Meta. So we'll have to wait to see if that can fade out. But we did good right there. We just actually got a couple of good fills there on the downside for Meta. That was 451. We talked about that 452.13 was that fill right there. We did not drop below this 50-period moving average, but we did come pretty close. So I do have one more fill down here at 451.20. Tesla up $8 right now and starting to go and helping this market definitely catch a bid. I feel like, look at Tesla, man. We hit that short early. It was fantastic. Like, what a good out that was. For you to be able to buy some of this pre-market level and trust it, that was a great trade. Up through 224 and absolutely flying high.
No lie.
Goes out. Yeah, no lie on that one. All right, so we'll see if we can get $1 on Apple here. If it just keeps on bouncing off 216, we'll like that for sure. Yeah, slippery slope on Meta. We already talked about where we're getting out on that one. So, all right, let's go back over to Adara because it's time for our crypto minute.
Lots of weakness in the world of crypto today. We're going to get to that in a minute. But one interesting story here coming from Galaxy Asset Management. This is run by billionaire Michael Novogratz, who is known for his work in the crypto space. They've raised $113 million for a new crypto venture, which was going to focus on some crypto startups. So could be an interesting look in the world of crypto startups here with this news coming through. $113 million being raised here for some new crypto ventures. In terms of Bitcoin itself, getting into this area that we did have a little bit of resistance support with in the past, most recently coming through here in early July, it's going to be that 64,000 levels. So Bitcoin trying to bounce off that right now on the daily chart, but this is going to be our fourth straight day to the downside for BTC. Ethereum here even weaker. This one down about 8%. We have Bitcoin down about 4% in the day. Ethereum below that 3,200 level on its third day of ETF trading. Those began trading on Tuesday. We have weakness across the board for all these other crypto names as well. BNB down about 4%. Solana down 5.5%. Ripple 3.5%. Dogecoin 7.25%. We have Cardano down about 6%. Pretty much all of the names in this crypto space are going to be notably weaker today, guys.
I'm still dumbfounded that somebody crossed arm with that big of an order when it was down that low and then was just dead right. Like, it didn't even matter how weak everything was. Like, it was just dead on. Like, the displayed size at 144 was 100,000 shares, which means when it gapped from 142, like, everything that filled in, like, that was them plus 100,000 more. And now it's at 150. So I'm still waiting, being very patient, looking for that. But while that happened, Ford did not hold the 130 level. So we're already out at 35. Then it wicked underneath 130, tried to come back above. So I went long to the low of the day. It's still grinding to the downside. Ford is down 18%. Not many things are at their bottoms, but SSR bounce plays usually tend to be at lows of the day. Tesla is now flying again, up to 225. So it tests 225. It's now failing back in. 225 was the next level we wanted. So let it get to that price. It's this and ARM. And I still can't believe that buyer being so right on ARM. It seems like there's limitless dip buyers on ARM. Regardless of valuation, their earnings are going to be interesting to say the least. I think if they miss, it's going to be a bloodbath. But it doesn't really matter. So Tesla 225 just tagged. I just got in at the $0.50. You know the drill. I don't mind making top wick if it's a crazy stock. And right now, Tesla is a crazy stock. Heck, almost everything on this bounce is crazy. But let's see if we pull back in. 223 is the previous high. So 223.5 is where I want to take first fill.
All right. Yeah. So let's start to review, I guess. We just took out Apple. We have 5% left on Apple. So Apple just came up there. I'm debating just taking this out. I'm wondering if we're getting ready to short again. The futures just faded off. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out of Apple. All right, I'm going to see if we can get out in the 90s. I just hit offer enter there. Let's see if we can get out of Apple right now. I'm going to actually see if we can get an 82 out. There it is. So now we're out. Oh, it turns purple because I already had an offer. So there we go. We're out now, trying to break down below. I just want to see this fade off the VWAP right there. If it does fade out, That's great, but there goes the market move in. I did not short that name. I did short Meta. So right here, Meta back in. We talked about this. This is now $1 in the money, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm going to put a bid here and not get filled. So let's wait to see if it does come back in again. I'm waiting for 451. I want to see it come back into the 50-period moving average. So right there again, I'm really going to regret some of the trading that I'm doing today, I feel like. And that is by not taking profits at the right spots and then not even holding on for more wins. But we got out of this one. This was a great trade. But Nvidia has retraced all the way back up. But we did get out at 108. We did give it back up to 106.50. So that was a situation there. And then just like there on Meta, we were just $1.30 in the money and happy about it, right? And then it just rips right back up into that area again. So I feel like we were 100%. We're not right. It doesn't matter. We talked about this yesterday with Obi. You could short early. If the short doesn't pay out, then you're wrong. And right here, we were long, only to see it move up $10. And then there we go. Now we're stopped out of that one. That's fine. That was about flat on that reload. But again, right there, we give back $1.50. Like we were $1.50 in the money on that. And then look what else we gave up. We gave up Apple, which continues to rip higher. And VWAP could be tested here for the market. So let's just slow down. I thought maybe we could try some shorts here on a bounce back. It doesn't look like it with Meta and with Apple continuing to go higher. Meta there breaks and then comes back. That's okay. We'll see where this one goes. I still do like the short. And Apple, I'm guessing, is not a short. Look at how this one is moving straight up to the upside right now. We nailed this long. It's going to be a huge P&L. Like my second best P&L name today is going to be that one because NVIDIA's huge. And then Tesla's a flat name for us. We talked about losing on that most recent short. So, yeah. Now I'm going to watch Meta's going to probably crack. All right, that's that. Amazon was another name today, 179. I mean, that bottom was 176 again. Just went a little too far there for us. But it is retracing back up to 180. So if you didn't have too much faith in some of these markets, which apparently I didn't, we're going to wait to see now what happens with Amazon making its way back up. I'm still not going to look at it Meta, am I? All right, Amazon, let me just, before I throw to Adair just quickly, Amazon's down what the market's down. So if we take VWAP, this should probably take 180, right? But we faded off there last time. So Amazon at 180 might be worth a try for anybody out there. All right, let's go back to Adair and then we'll discuss. Neil's got short Tesla and Intel. I like the shorts though.
META on watch here. Meta platforms. We have Reuters reporting, citing some sources that Meta is going to be hit with its first EU antitrust fine with regards to the linking of its marketplace and Facebook features. And the EU antitrust decision against Meta is expected after the August holiday break. So META on watch here. Potential antitrust decision coming through an August holiday break. Reuters reporting there could be a fine involved, guys.
Today, that'd be insane.
Like this long.
If the market were to go green today,
I think when the market goes green.
I think that's there's so many.
A lot of pressure here.
Yeah, there's just so much off guard. So Tesla just came back, got that $0.50. Try to get out when it pressed that 223 back into the upside. You're getting higher lows, man. So I don't know how much of a reload I'm gonna like. Maybe I'll back off into the mid 220s here, but it is starting to press higher. And ARM it's going to get there. I'm at this point, look at it consolidate going into 150. It's just sat here consolidating. There goes Intel breaking the high, so we'll stop a fail on that. Our first short worked on Intel, and then we just gave it right back and down on it as it failed that same top. But ARM's at the level that we said. So it's a V-shaped recovery, but you know what? Unless it breaks out the top, it ain't over yet.
Boom.
For ARM. So it can't seem to get to 150, but it's really holding this 149. I feel like a fail break is coming next, so that's what we're watching. Obviously, Tesla as well. We'd love to see it get down into VWAP. The buyer is stepping right in at this 223.5. I think that was a good spot for Tesla. Wow, what a recovery. It's SSR. Ultimately, this is a short sell restricted bounce on Tesla, and it's squeezing to the upside. So a couple of shorts worked, a couple of shorts didn't. At this point, if this one stops, that'll be flat on the stock and go 2 for 4. But fighting the trend, I guess it could be worse.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Hell.
I need another thing. What else, Professor? Do you know anything that's a Meta like TSLL or something like that? Because honestly, this Meta, I've absolutely nailed. I just put in the chat, FBL, she said there. That's something Joe Biden? FJ, what was it? Okay. All right, right there. We'll just took $1.50 right there. on Meta because I've had enough of this spread BS, honestly. Like, I was just bidding there for, like, I just got filled at 451.91, but it bounced off me like 3 times. I was down there in the 70s, it bounced off that, was down there in the 90s, bounced off that, put it to 91, and finally got it, and then it just rips up like this. For the amount of shares that I'm trying to trade, this is not a good stock. Honestly, Meta, so what did you say it was? F what? FBL. Okay, Facebook. There it is. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Sharif and Adara. So this and Adara, yeah, I'll give the credit over there, Sharif. Don't worry, I got this. But yeah, okay. So again, the liquidity actually looks like pretty bad on this one, but we'll wait to see. Like, I'd be just as frustrated waiting for this fill right here. So I'll pass on FBL, but for right now, good call out there and a good out for us on Meta, as we'll wait to see now what happens here on this name. Hopefully a little bit lower as we get that news from Adara, facing that antitrust decision coming through later on in the summer. So we'll, that's not going to be something right now. You know what? As long as they have to pay a fine, then who cares? Meta,
they got the money.
That's exactly what Meta wants.
Yes.
They want a fine. They just don't want to have any restrictions on any of their platforms or anything like that. The amount of cash that these guys are sitting on, like, I mean, hold on, let me just look that up just real quick before we throw over to Adara.
Enough is the answer.
Yeah,
to
and
that
I didn't even hear this. I mean, I heard the story, but I didn't really hear, what sort of the thought was behind it there. But like, what potentially the fine would be? $58 billion in cash, and definitely sitting on a bunch.
Yeah, they're good.
So they probably
ain't no fine big enough.
Yeah, they all right, Adara. Let's go and talk about. I'm gonna go with Sector Watch. It's probably not even close.
Dead on.
We are talking about Sector Watch. Also, with regards to Meta, there were some concerns over the linking of some of its platforms, including Marketplace. That was what was being looked into here by the EU, according to that Reuters report. Speaking of Meta, we have these tech sectors very much showing a lot of weakness in the NASDAQ right now, right across the board, more or less, in electronic technology, with a couple exceptions. We also have a lot of weakness here in technology services with these 3 Mag 7 names. Some of the other names in the sector, though, not doing as badly. We have CRM and Accenture to the upside here. In terms of strength, finance pretty much green across the board. Lots of strength in consumer non-durables, health services, consumer durables led by a very strong Tesla on a post-earnings rebound, communications, health services, distribution also all green, along with energy, minerals. Health technology pretty green here as well, though Eli Lilly to the downside after Viking Therapeutics, VKTX, announced their earnings and some positive results for their obesity drug. So LLY on watch here to the downside. Other sectors of note include producer manufacturing, a little bit more mixed, but generally with these sectors, we'll see lots of strength or lots of weakness, nothing in between, guys.
All right, I'll show you some in between here.
I just put it in the chat. The low of Meta today is $442.60, which means stink buy at $442.69.
Activated.
And look, obviously that's just a ridiculous coincidence because that's a silly number. 440 is the support, but I didn't care. I'm probably never selling those shares, so it doesn't really matter. Tesla is strong like a bull.
Smell like a bull or strong like a bull?
Strong like a bull.
Okay.
It just retapped the high. So the good news is it just retapped but didn't break the high. So we're in Meta. Meta's on my brain. We're in Tesla short 224.5. It does not break the high of the day. So I think VWAP is in play. I'm not reloading it yet. I want to see a little more weakness. ARM broke the 150. So I'm going to stay on Tesla for a second here. ARM broke the 150. Wicked 151 has not broken this 151.5 yet. So I'd like to see it consolidate under, maybe false break the top, and we can get short, but this market is strong, so I think you got to be really, really patient with that. So here's Tesla trying to run into this high. Jay Lee, remember ARM has great tech, putting Intel to shame, which is why Apple uses them 100%. Look, it's just a trade on ARM. I own ARM in my personal account, not enough because I suck. But it's just a trade. Like, I have nothing bad to say about ARM, and their valuation's probably not that great, but yeah, they got great technology that's in every single small device out there. Phone, tablet, like whatever. Like 99.9 whatever % of all devices that are small need them because they're power efficient. So they win, just like ASML wins in the same way, but a trade is a trade. And this one's gonna come out if Tesla breaks the high, which 225 is about to happen here on Tesla. In complete hindsight, 218 should have been a dip buy, but again, hindsight's always going to be 2020. It was looking short up there, was looking dip underneath on Tesla. So we'll try to get away with it here at Tesla. Probably going to break this 225 as we speak. Still no eyeballs on Ford for another fresh low, but Tesla's about to break down. If it fails and can hold underneath 224.50, that would give me a spot for a reload. But until that happens, we're just sitting here watching the 225 level.
All right. Let's. I cannot believe this run that Apple's just had right here. And we say this all the time, like, it's our job to try to make some money in this market. I mean, that's why we're here, right? I mean, that's why everybody's trading. And it's just like, I don't know how to tell that this is going to have this kind of a huge move back up to the upside. So I don't. We really like Apple. I thought that was going to be a great bottom there, but I've thought that about a few different names. So if anybody has any advice how I can pick these a little bit better to hold them, that would be great. I've been looking at like different Fibonacci retracement stuff, but that kind of I was gonna say the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. But shout out to the professor there teaching fibs, which is great. But anyways. You have to use on a retracement. So you got to draw it here, and you got to, it just takes some time, and it's just more for longer period trades. I feel like. But anyways, here we go. Apple. I'll try the short right now. We're short at 217.12. We just got a little bit of a fill, but here it goes, breaking back up. We're going to get out right now. Do not stand in the way of some of these things. It just went to the 200 period. So for me, this was just a technical trade right there up to the 200 period. We shorted it. We were able to get one out there in the teens, and then, that's in the 70s, and then we got another out there in the teens. But right now, Apple looking to break through, as the market does as well. The market was down 0.6 there. Neil's like, if we get positive, I'm like, when? It's already halfway back. I don't know if we're going to, but it is very aggressive right now to the upside. Needless to say. So good little run there. All my longs have been wrong, but not because they're wrong now. They're completely fantastic right now. But you got to adhere to some of the shutdowns. And like I said yesterday, we talked about, what kind of a day we had yesterday. We're going to be red today. And yesterday I said there was 4 positive traders on the floor. Today there's 3, or less. So, it's been a tough day again here today. Look at the market. See, this is the problem. When the market goes against what you really do think, people get hit. And there it goes right there. We were really right early on the short, but look at this flying right back up, man. I was like, oh, did anyone buy NVIDIA down there at 107? NVIDIA an hour ago was down 7%. It's now flat. So
it's insane.
I mean, you want to talk about like opportunities of buying dips and whatnot. Today was your day for long-term account buying if you were able to do that. I don't know.
Although if it's long-term, the thing is, if it's long-term, it's not like there's a bad time to buy. It is what it is.
Oh, well.
If I'm saying long enough, if your time frame is long enough, then the price is not going to matter as much. But let's get to brass tacks for a second. I might have just missed.
I'm going to try to short 14s here.
Yeah, I just missed it.
Okay.
Tesla retested 225. I said if it's held underneath 224.5, I would get 224.5. That's me not getting 224.5. I left the order in there because sometimes you get picked up, but now it's down to 223. If it bounces off the 222 half again, I'm getting out of this trade because we're not seeing VWAP. So I'm just in this and ARM. And as you were saying, like Meta, the fact that we're back, we're at these pre-market levels, like with a V shape, like this is where things usually set up. Like 460 is usually a good level, but there's a limit to how many things you want to short at the high. So I'm in ARM. I was trying to get more of Tesla, did not. I'm going to get more of ARM if it gives me the 151. If it just fails back to 150, I might add that way and then play back into VWAP. It's that simple. Ford continues to flush. The new low is $11.20. If it gets to $11, you know the drill. It's down 18%. If it gets to $11, it'll be down 20%. And I'll probably be long at 11.01 at some point today on Ford. You know what? I'm almost guaranteeing you I will be long at $11.01 at some point today on Ford. As long as it gets there. I mean, if it never gets there, you can't buy a price that doesn't exist.
Prices. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can make them up. You just can't actually get filled there. Like I can say anything I want.
Like I could be like, oh, I'm short NVIDIA right now at 120. Yeah. But it's at 113.
But I'm gonna have an 01 long today, I think, on Ford.
Yeah, I like that call. All right, so right here, we are short into NVIDIA against that 114. We're taking some profit. We're literally short here at 113.67. You can see there on the chat, it's only 40 cents in the money. I am bidding 113 low here just to see if we can get that bouncing off the even dollar, making some money back here. I mean, slowly by, surely by whatever, as we go. And we could, again, get stopped out to the upside here on NVIDIA, breaking through that 114 would be my level. We just did take a couple fills there, but in what does not appear to be a short today, the market. So we'll see. You know what? Okay, so we're flat again. So stupid. NVIDIA, like we take 50 cents, then we lose 40 cents, 50 cents.
Even like long.
Oh man, we're above VWAP. Do we have to change our mind here? On this and just wait for pullbacks and go long instead of trying to.
Is Wayne Brady going to have
breaks?
to smack a?
Oh man! All right. Look, NVIDIA's by far the #1 stock, and I'm happy with it. It's been the #1 stock for me for a while. But again, we're not. I don't want to play with this because we just took some profit. We got hit. It went to the upside, and look at this, keep on screaming huge right now. Good thing we got out of some Apple as that comes back into 218. Like I look at all these names and I look at them and say short, but the market is like really nicely up from here. I didn't get any triggers on the TQs or anything like that.
Look at Google.
Like we could get a trigger up on the TQs. I mean, we like all these levels that we wrote down for longs. Like we wrote down Google long 170. I mean, Meta long 450. Forget about that. It's $10 now. Ford the short never came through, and the AMD short. So you know the ideas that we had all paid. It's just timing. Like there's 170 loses, and it goes down to 168. Just a very, very dramatic flush today, and then bought all back up. I feel like it's going to run out of steam at some point, man. I just don't know.
It's a matter of when, but
like remember.
But and then how deep? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 20 minutes ago. Imagine the market's getting green. I mean, the market is right now 1 minute away from getting green. So if you want to fade it. But for right now, I feel like that's a little bit of a dangerous play. And my bad, we do have money talk. So let's go over to Adara. And then after that, it'll be 10 more minutes of us and then the midday.
We have the DXY here continuing to try to hold some support at that 104.10 area on the daily. This is the third day in a row we've had these wicks to the downside. We're trying to recover and hold up. We did have a pretty big economic data print to talk about coming through this morning. It's going to be the advanced quarterly GDP print for Q2 coming in at 2.8%. So this is much higher than the estimate of 2% and the previous print of 1.4%. We also had U.S. durable goods coming in negative 6.6%, so much lower than the expected positive 0.3%. Jobless claims also coming in a little bit lower than expected, 236,000 versus the estimate of 238,000. Initial jobless claims for last week. Also worth noting, we do have comments from U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen coming through right now saying that the GDP and inflation data, quote, affirms that the U.S. is on a path to steady growth and declining inflation. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. We do have comments from Janet Yellen. Worth noting, too, we have Michigan consumer sentiment coming through tomorrow, in addition to the PCE price index. This is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. Keep an eye on that ahead of the Fed meeting tomorrow or next week, guys.
I was just saying to Neil, like NVIDIA
meme level.
It's going meme levels right now. I'm just going to try.
We've come full circle. So look, Tesla somehow hasn't broken the high, which doesn't even make any sense. Like Tesla was the strongest stock. That's the thing that's not breaking out the top right now because there goes ARM. It's embarrassing to have the low and then not hold it even to VWAP. And I said if it got back to 151, that was a big level. I would take the short. So it got in here. I waited for it to get to that price, but it doesn't matter. It just broke out the top and no fighting it. Now with that V shape, it's weird to say, but if it holds 150, like I have 161.5 marked off for a reason. Like that's insane. Another $10 higher, but the stock is insane. So let's let it go with that. Amazon just went positive. Tesla's still somehow holding its high, but I feel like that could be temporary. So I'm here looking at VWAP. We're about at the money because I have the $0.50 short. As long as it doesn't break the high when the market's breaking highs, I guess that's okay. But it's a super strong market. Probably should have held on to, like I had ARM and didn't hold on to it for the long trade, unfortunately. But all you can do is move on to the next. NVIDIA is going to get to $117. I don't even know what to say about that. It's going to get there at this point. So no, I mean, it's completely insane, but 117 was the first thing I said at the open. Yeah, we're going to pop and fade into NVIDIA at 117. If I short this thing anywhere but that level, I'm a fool. And if we're going to flip into longs, which I think makes a lot of sense, then the big level on the reload short was at 113. So if we get back in and pull 113, that sets up for a dip buy zone, or maybe like VWAP or something like that. VWAP's at 111. 113 was the lower high this morning for the short, and then 117 up here would be that next potential fade. So I'm just in Tesla, looking for something that maybe we can take in the meantime that's at a key price level, but I'm not seeing it. We're going to have to be patient with it here. So lock up your patience. And one last one. Oh, Ford is bouncing. Okay, so Ford's not making fresh lows anymore. Still going to wait for $11 at this moment. We're just in Tesla. Hopefully we can get 222 or down into VWAP there. Somehow this is not making highs anymore.
So we're trying to put sort of our money where our mouth is here with this trade. I mean, we said that NVIDIA was trying to go meme style craziness here. So we went back into the long, and I don't know, if it breaks back down below 115, we'll get out. But we just, okay, it's going to break now. So I was just saying we scalped out. So we did pretty good there getting out. We flipped over to the longs, and we hit all of these up. We got some 160. Our best fill there is 115, 115.67. So that was a pretty good fill, and there it goes. Now it's losing the bid here on NVIDIA. So there it goes, straight down to the downside. So wow, definitely losing the bid now is NVIDIA. So okay, all right. Well, that was. I feel like ever since the morning is like every trade that we're having on NVIDIA now is like a flat trade. We get in and then we get out, and then we're like, okay, here it goes, and then it doesn't, and then it goes the other way. So right now, NVIDIA trying to go. The futures did just have a little bit of a dump. But remember, NVIDIA just moved up 8% intraday. So that was a nice move there for sure. Maybe that 115 where we started to see like this going a little bit insane. Maybe now we can see that these, okay, so there it goes. I know we just talked about where this name could possibly go and that it looked like the machines were turned on. Well, maybe now they're turned off. As there, okay, so now it's a nice little bounce back upside here for NVIDIA. I tried to take a little bit of a short there. You might have to pay 60s now. We were waiting, okay, we paid some 60s. We're waiting for 66s to come into play there against that 115. So let's just see right now if we take that out. And if we do, then we're going to have to probably get out of that. We don't want to be in this if this goes meme crazy again, of course. So right now, here goes NVIDIA. There it goes. Look at it ramping again. All right, very, very violent name here, NVDA. This has been a fun trade, but it's not alone, that's for sure, right now. But I feel alone on an island here trading this NVIDIA today, as it's just throwing me up and down and around.
Well, like the greatest football team in the world, professional football team in the world likes to say, you are not alone.
So which team?
It's a Liverpool song.
Oh, the Liverpool song.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I mean, I know Sharif probably knows that one.
You like that, right, Sharif?
Ouch.
It's the same thing, man. I mean, he said, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's what you said. I have to make it work with what Sean said.
Right.
Come on, son. You try to work these things in there. And Sharif's an Arsenal fan, so of course he's gonna yammer about that. But it is what it is. No, I know you don't like Liverpool, Sharif. So he's in my ear. I love Mo Salah's fantastic. Just a couple of things here quickly. You're still in the same range. This time, if we bounce off, look, if you just keep bouncing off 223, it is what it is on Tesla. And it's a big consolidation. I keep thinking it's going to break lower. It doesn't seem to want to break lower at this point. We got to trade the level that's there. 223 is the bottom. Let me just go back over to Ford. That was it. Sometimes it's not at the even dollars. There's 1120. For whatever reason, it was 1120 into VWAP. There's your SSR bounce. I said I'm going to get 1101 long on Ford. I guess I'm not getting 1101 long on Ford, unfortunately. It is what it is at this point. I can't do anything about it. I just went over and said Micron in the chat was good at 105, but it's one of the weaker stocks out there. There's 105 on the daily. It now has a double top. The double top at a 109 when I came in here thinking I can't sneak this one in for weakness, and it just showed you the false breakout. So this is an opportunity for me. I put this one on the back burner as a potential trade, but it's double bottom, double top. If we get another push up, and fail this high, I want to look short back underneath with a stop at 109. So it'll be relatively tight risk for a bit of a scalp trade. It's 10:59, which means we're going to be throwing it on over to the midday in just a couple of seconds. But I'm looking for pop and fade right here at 109 on Micron. ARM, we'll have to wait for another level to set up. But I think the next trade is going to be in Micron because Ford doesn't care what I want. I said that was, you can't get a price it doesn't trade to, right? We just said that.
Yeah.
But we're going to get this Micron trade in here. NVIDIA, you're short on NVIDIA. I haven't looked at AMD. I feel like there's probably a missed opportunity in AMD. But the third chip name I was going to trade was going to be Micron, and it's already bounced off 105. So here it comes. It just popped and is now losing the bid, so I'll try and get the $0.50 on MU.
We're still up on NVIDIA, but you know, we always talk about you know, that we're having good days. Today we're not today at all. There's going to be two positive traders on the floor behind us. It's been a tough day. Yesterday, I thought yesterday was a little tough. We wound up having a decent day yesterday, but today it seems like look at that. NASDAQ. What did we say? Neil mentioned green. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to get there. The momentum cannot be stopped. And it looks like that's continuing right now to the upside as everyone comes in there and buys that dip, man, there today, which was a bad day, now turning into a good one. So, again, thank you so much for watching us. Like I said, I know it's been a tough day. I hope it's been a better day for you. It was a great day to start off with NVIDIA heading to the downside and Tesla, and then we sort of lost our way trying to find this meta trade. This was okay. The shorts were okay. The long was not. And then Amazon, dip buy opportunities. Wow. Again, right back up to the upside potentially. It's always looking like good shorts to me, but for right now, the short does not appear to be right. Tough day, hopefully much better for you guys, but the best part about it is now we get to learn. So let's learn some new strategies. Maybe we could put them into play here as we go. So thank you, Neil. Thank you, Sharif, Adara, for today for some of that information. Ramin and Fabian coming through, Brendan, and a big shout out to Rahim Alani for coming in today again. So
he loves gold.
Ramin, who is loving gold. And we'll see if there's anything coming through with that one. I'm going to try to short some more Amazon, probably to my death. So, all right, let's go over. Thank you, everybody. It's 11:01. Ciao, 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 ciao.